Julia, this is your chance. This is your chance to show the whole country again what South Carolina State football is all about. We are a clean-cut, hard damn nose, get after your fanny kind of outfit. We the ground that believes in knocking your butt down every snap, helping your fanny up every snap.
You are watching ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's. It's tailgate week, and it's fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. As the South Carolina State Bulldogs travel south to take on the Florida A&M Rattlers from Bragg Memorial Stadium here in Tallahassee, Florida. And hello once again, everyone. Todd Harris along with Jay Walker. Well, all the eyes of the HBCU world are on Tallahassee today because these are two of the premier programs.
You talk about the stars shining bright. Well, they're lining up for this classic showdown. The #1 team in all of black college football, two-time defending MEAC champion South Carolina State Bulldogs, taking on who many feel to be the #2 best team in the MEAC conference, maybe in black college football, in Florida A&M.
Let's talk about the Bulldogs who make the trip south here to Tallahassee. They are led by a very experienced offensive line, but it's their quarterback that'll make them go.
Yeah, they need Malcolm Long to get it going. He was the preseason Offensive Player of the Year in the MEAC Conference on the Peyton watch list. He's gotten off to a slow start. He's got to pick it up and get back to last year's form if the Bulldogs are going to get to where they want to go.
For the homestanding Rattlers, well, they have a very young offensive line, a solid quarterback, but for them, it's all about getting that running game and establishing it in a hurry.
Yeah, when you talk about the running game for Florida A&M, you're talking about Philip Sylvester. As a freshman, he was the MEAC Rookie of the Year. Now he's in the senior campaign. He's well rested. They rested him last week in anticipation of tonight's ball game. Look for Philip Sylvester to be fresh and ready to go.
Head coach of the Bulldogs, Buddy Pugh, in his 8th year. 8 years down in Orangeburg. 7-0, most importantly, though, against Florida A&M. And Professor Jay, what's on the syllabus today?
Well, we saw the Bulldog team, and they're a big team. So offensively, they've got the ability to pound and pound and pound away, control the line of scrimmage, rushing the football. And defensively, they've got a solid defense, but more importantly, they need their defensive front four to apply pressure all night long.
His counterpart across the way, Joe Taylor, getting it done for the Rattlers, and he's got a tall task ahead of him because it's a very good Bulldog team. How's it work for them?
I think their lesson plan has to be this. Offensively, they've got to attack the secondary. We know the front seven for South Carolina State is very strong. You may be able to throw the football on them. And then defensively, they've got to stop the run. Last week, this Florida A&M defense gave up over 250 yards rushing to Tennessee State, so they've got to shore up their run defense.
Well, this is the 55th meeting between Florida A&M and South Carolina State. The first game was played back in 1930, so I won't say it's a grudge match, but these they know each other real well.
To tell you how closely linked these programs are, you talked about Buddy Pugh is 7-0 against Florida A&M, but before he got there, Florida A&M had won 7 consecutive games against South Carolina State, so it seems to balance out. There's just excitement in the air. You can feel it. This is going to be a good one, Todd.
Bragg Memorial Stadium, don't forget, you've got the Marching 100 coming up at halftime. Named the best marching band in the land by Sports Illustrated back in the day. And Florida A&M, though, leads all time 39-19-3. But as we pointed out, the Bulldogs have had their way over the last 7. And, of course, last year it was a big shootout, 35-20, going the way of the Bulldogs. Well, it's a picture-perfect day in Tallahassee. The Seminoles are not in town. The weather is just about where you want it to be as the sun begins to set here on Bragg Memorial Stadium. Blake Erickson, the junior from Florida, will tee it up, and James Owens is back to receive for the Rattlers. And we are underway in Tallahassee. Owens gets the ball about the 15, and he is absolutely popped at the 25. Number 29 comes up. That was big Lateris Douglas after a 12-yard pickup, and that's where the Rattlers will take over. Their quarterback, Martin Opie, the sophomore from Plantation, Florida, Coaches have said, you know, he doesn't have to win the game for us, just has to manage it. We got enough athletes on this team to take the pressure off that young man.
That's a lot different than a year ago when Florida A&M had Curtis Pulley, the Offensive Player of the Year in the MEAC Conference, who was their offense, dual threat quarterback phenomenon. Now they've got a quarterback there saying, just don't blow the game for us.
Out of the gun, it's Opie, fakes the handoff and swings it out, and that pass is going to go for a little double look there as Antonio Lawrence bobbled it momentarily. That's a 5-yard loss, not the way the Rattlers want to start. As we take a look at the starting offensive line, it's going to be actually skill players for Sylvester Wilson, West Elliott, and Max Purcell. They're tied in. Big men up front, it's Curry Moreland, Anthony, Robert Hartley, and Christopher Sands, the right tackle. So a 5-yard loss on the opening play. Call it 4.5. They'll make it second down and 14. Opie comes out firing again. This time he was looking for his big receiver on the corner, and it was broken up nicely by number 39, Samaj Moody. We'll hear his name a lot today. Defense for the Bulldogs. Washington Smith, Ferguson, and Jason Ayers anchor the front. Good set of linebackers here, maybe some of the best in all the MEAC, with Wilkerson, McFadden, and David Irby, number 4. He is a handful, the senior at Rock Hill. And then Moody, who just made that play, Thompson Ellis, and Yari King playing the right corner. Third down and 14 for Florida A&M. Ball just short of the 21. Opie looking, has nothing there, forced out, and big number 56, Julius Wilkerson, a 2009 All-MEAC second-teamer from Gaffney, South Carolina, does not let him out of the pocket, pulls him up short.
You mentioned they could be arguably the best linebacker corps in America at this level. Well, look at the speed there. Quarterback thinks he's getting outside the pocket. No, sir. Julius Wilkerson showing you the speed that he possesses to go along with that frame he's got. 6 feet 4 inches tall, 230 pounds.
Richard Christie back to receive. Brandon Holdren on to punt it away for the Rattlers. So a 3-and-out right off the bat. Takes a Florida A&M bounce, and this ball is going to go all the way down to about the 34-yard line. A 56-yard punt, and that is where South Carolina State will take over. Malcolm Long, 6'3", 250 pounds, out of Gaffney, South Carolina. As Jay mentioned, he is on the Peyton watch list. He is a team captain, a 2009 All-MEAC second-teamer. He's a big boy, does not like to run a lot, but he does have a very solid arm.
Yeah, he's got the arm, and he's got the things ultimately you judge quarterback by. He wins. You're talking about a guy that's led his team to 2 consecutive conference titles. I think they've won more than 15 consecutive games in conference play, so he can get it done on the football field.
Long comes out firing, finds his receiver, Linnell Elmore, the sophomore from Allendale, South Carolina, for a 7-yard pickup. As we take a look at the offense for the Bulldogs of South Carolina State, starting with the skill players, wide receivers and backs, and they are very talented and fast. Massey is the running back, Devin Wary, Tyler McDonald, Richard Christie, and Dwayne Clark. Up front, it's Colbraith, Johnson, Timothy, Nathan, and Harrison, and that is as good a crew as you'll find in the MEAC. Massey gets a nice hole off the left-hand side as he is up till close to midfield. A 9-yard pickup as we take a look at the defense for the Florida A&M Rattlers. Jerry Willis, Hollandhead, is very solid up front. Coach said he's going to have a big game today, and Marquise Ramos, the defensive end. Linebackers, Forsett, Walker, Graham, Farrell, and Folson. And the secondary for Florida A&M, Curtis Holcomb, Harvey, Ojo, and Keir Hall. Keep your eye on number 1. First and 10 for the Bulldogs. Long sets up a screen, almost picked off by number 11, Demarius Folson, the sophomore from Madison, Florida.
Yeah, they tried to set up that wide receiver screen with the misdirection. He's going to play the linebacker position. He's in man-to-man coverage there. Oh, ball was going to his guy right in the breadbasket, but snuck up on him.
Second down and 10 for the Bulldogs on their first possession of this game from Bragg Memorial Stadium here in Tallahassee. On the give, up the middle. The pile just pushing forward. And Jay, you talk about it as Massey picks up 8 more yards. This offensive line, this is the second full year they've been playing together, and they are a good unit. Yeah,
they've got everything you want. They've got the experience behind them. They've started plenty of games. They've played together, and they've got talent. You know, led by their left tackle, Johnny Colbert, who's been a 2-time all-conference lineman. He's going to be an All-American this season. NFL scouts are drooling about big number 50, 6'6", 310 pounds. So they can basically force their will on you with the running game.
2nd down and 2 from the 43. They go back to the running game. This time it's 26. Chris Massey again, the senior from Shiraz, South Carolina, with a 4-yard pickup. Greg Harvey makes the stop. Well, there you see the offensive line, and I'll tell you what, Colbreth, Nathan, and Harrison, they're all 2009 all MEAC first teamers. So you know you got a good thing there, and when you got a quarterback with as much experience as Long, he's got to feel pretty confident in the pocket.
Exactly, you know, and they lost a 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago in William Ford, but when your line's got that much experience, Chris Massey and you know, and Mr. Jordan, they can really run that football, so you know they're going to be able to control the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from the Rattlers, 37. Long in the pocket, has plenty of time, has a man across the middle, reception made, number 1, Linnell Elmore, and I tell you what, if Mr. Long could have let him a little bit more, I think he would have been in for 6. Yeah, if this ball was thrown with a little bit more accuracy, hit him in stride, he's going right to the soft spot, gets by the inside linebacker, makes that catch. And good job of going down and catching the ball with his hands. You see Long release the pass. Look at the hands. Go grab it. Then tuck it close to your body, tuck and roll, 1st down. You know, that's what, when you watch the good football teams, they make the tough plays look rather easy. 17-yard pickup on 1st down. They come out firing again. This time they go across the middle. They were looking for Antoine Carr, the junior from Augusta, Georgia. He's unable to come up with it, and he gets popped at the end of the play. So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10, but so far the offense of the Bulldogs as good as advertised. Yeah, they have the ability to run the football. You know, it seems like they're going to find some lanes to throw the football in. For Florida A&M, the strength of their defense is probably their back 7 when you talk about the linebackers and their secondary. So they've got some good corners, but South Carolina State doesn't seem to mind. Bulldogs come out running on 2nd down. Chris Massey gets the call for no game, and the Rattlers rise up, led by Demarius Folson, number 11, the sophomore out of Madison, Florida. Folson's one of those guys, you just call him a good sideline-to-sideline guy. We saw him earlier, missed the interception opportunity. That play's over with, forget about it. He's going out there just running sideline-to-sideline, trying to knock people all over the place. So that'll bring up the first 3rd down situation for the Bulldogs. The ball's resting just inside the 22. Malcolm Long will operate out of the gun. Chris Massey to his right. And he's going to go for it all. Had number 2 down there, got tangled up. He was looking for the freshman Tyler McDonald, but good coverage on the play by the Rattlers. Yeah, you obviously saw that Tyler McDonald was double covered there, so nowhere to go with the football. In that case there, you make up your mind with your pre-snap read that you're going to the single receiver side. The offensive coordinator wants you to be 90% accurate on that throw there, so that's more of a mental mistake. Going to the single receiver side, double covered, should have gone on the other side of the field. Blake Erickson comes on, the junior, and this will be a 38-yard attempt. And the Bulldogs convert on their first possession. They go on top of Florida A&M 3-0. 10:35 to play here in Tallahassee. It is a great day to tailgate, especially when you got something like that on the grill. We'll be back after this.
When you join, the podcast is presented in high definition on ESPNU HD by Comcast. This is Tailgate Week, fired up like Kingsford Charcoal.
Back in Tallahassee, Florida, South Carolina State on top of Florida A&M 3-0. 10:35 to play here in the first quarter. So an opening drive by South Carolina State. They go 10 plays, 44 yards in just 2 minutes and 42 seconds to convert on the 38-yard field goal. Now the Rattlers will get their 2nd chance with the ball as Blake Erickson gets set to kick it away for South Carolina State. James Owens back to receive. Owens from the 2. Owens gets out to about the 24-yard line. Hey, reminder, join host Laura Galindo with Mike Bellotti and Tom Luganville for BCS Countdown for in-depth analysis of the week. And a look ahead to week number 6, the BCS Countdown presented by Discover on ESPNU, ESPNU HD. That's Monday at 6 Eastern. Can you believe, Jay, we're already at week 6, coming up on week 6?
Got here fast,
Yes,
didn't
it did. It just goes to show the quality of games we've seen, and today's a monster Saturday around the college football landscape as well.
Everywhere you look, you've got key. I mean, Pac-10's got key contests going on. The SEC's got good contests going on. It's that time of year.
1st and 10 from the 24 for Florida A&M on their second possession. Give to Sylvester. And he gets up to around the 28-yard line, so a pickup of 4 yards. Jason Ayers making the stop. The Florida A&M offensive line, now they're young, not much experience, and it's a big change from last year, but they're you know, Coach Taylor said we're plugging holes, we're making do with what we got.
Yeah, went out and got his whole left side of his line. There's nothing but transfers, but well, I will say this about that unit. He felt good about them because this is the first time they're actually playing together where they're all 100% healthy. So they've been having to go piecemeal offensive line, but now he feels he's got a healthy group, and he thinks they're going to be able to compete tonight.
They credit Sylvester with 5 yards, so it's 2nd down and 5. Sylvester gets the call again off the right-hand side, and he is pushed out of bounds after a 2-yard pickup. We talked with both coaches this week, Jay, and both of them were adamant in the fact that they had to establish the run early. But you looked at what the Bulldogs came out, and it was that was a heavy dose of passing.
Yeah, and I think that was a game plan. You talked to Coach Pugh before, and he said they expect us to run the ball after giving up so many yards rushing last week. They're going to work on their run D. We're going to soften them up, make them respect the throwing game, and then we'll be able to run the football at will, hopefully, in the later half of the game.
Big 3rd and 3 for Florida A&M from the 31. Opie gets some heat, steps up in the pocket, does a great job of avoiding a sack, but Donovan Richard was all over him, tracking him down. You want to talk about the speed of that linebacking core. My goodness.
Yeah, Richard does a good job of coming from the outside. Watch him never give up on your right side of your screen. Beats his guy, quarterbacks tries to step up, still continues his pursuit, and then makes the tackle from behind. You talk about a fantastic individual effort by number 40, Donovan Richard, the 6'1", 690-pound dog backer they call their South Carolina State.
My favorite player, you know why?
Why?
Same birthday.
Oh, my goodness.
Donovan Richard, happy birthday, August 16th to you, young man. We probably just celebrated about the same, and they are going to be short by about a foot. Florida A&M is going to have to punt this away because it is in a dangerous territory to turn it back over to the Bulldogs. Ball resting just inside the 34-yard line. So sophomore Brandon Holdren will come in to punt it away. And Richard Christie back to receive for South Carolina State. Boy, and if you're the Rattlers, Jay, you really like to convert that 3rd down because your defense had a long stand out there to get the game going.
They were out there and they got pushed around a little bit, so you would like to set up some type of chemistry on your offensive front there, but when you're going against a team that's as talented as South Carolina State, you got to bring your A game, and right now, the offense is playing their C or D- game.
Holdren with a beautiful punt, backs up Christie all the way to the 25, a 41-yard punt, and that's where the Bulldogs will take over when we come back to Bragg Memorial Stadium. But the flavors around town, they are awesome. ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Flavors of the South. When you come to Tallahassee, before you even open your mouth, you gain 5 pounds. The food is so good down here, Jay.
Now, for the viewers at home, don't let the open fool you. I mean, I've got the size, but you've got the appetite. You know, you keep going and going and going. You got to feed that tapeworm in your stomach.
It must be something like that. On 1st down, Ashton Jordan into the game for the first time, and he is taken out to about the 31-yard line, a pickup of 4 for the Bulldogs. But their balance so far has been sensational. South Carolina State has done pretty much what they wanted to do, stalling out on that first drive and settling for a field goal.
Now they're starting to get back to that running game. You know, sooner or later that the running game was going to take over, and they're starting to do it. I asked what was the problem with Florida A&M when you saw the film breakdown. Why was Tennessee State able to run the ball on them? He said they just were going in the wrong gap. So they're not a disciplined gap defense team with their linebacker position.
Flags come out. All kinds of movement on the front line. And this is where my favorite part is. They'll start pointing at each other. It was you. No, it was you. We'll find out from our head referee, Donnell Leathers. And they'll tag the Rattlers for that one. So the ball is taken out to about the 36-yard line. And that is not going to make head coach Joe Taylor very happy, mistakes like that. Bulldogs don't need any help getting down the field. 2nd down and 1, already on top. Bulldogs leading 3-0. Once again, it's Ashton Jordan, the sophomore from Summerville, South Carolina, the Citadel transfer. So they got a bit of a two-headed monster in the backfield with Chris Massey and Jordan carrying the load.
Yeah, and you talk about Jordan, Ashton Jordan, he's your backup. He's already got 4 touchdowns on the season. But more impressive, what I like, averages 7.5 yards per carry.
That's quarterback's best friend, isn't it?
Oh, give it to him twice and you got a 1st down.
There you go. Speaking of 1st downs, that is what the Bulldogs have now. Ball at the 39-yard line. And they'll keep it on the ground once again. Ashton Jordan. Jay, we've talked about this before, seeing other players. He's got the sense of when he's getting tackled, he's always falling forward. He'll pick up an extra yard or 2.
Yeah, that's the key, and that's how you keep that average up there. See, watch after the initial contact is made. Look at the legs. Keep going. Keep going. So that forward lean, by knowing how to fall, get the shoulder pad level down, picked up an extra 2 yards on that carry.
So Chris Massey now comes into the game. He's in the backfield with Long. 2nd down and 5. They look to the sideline for a change in plays. Massey gets the call, quick to the hole, all the way into Rattler territory and beyond. He was dragging 2 Rattlers down to the 41 for a 14-yard pickup. John Oho has to come over with Demarius Folson to make the stop.
You know, Florida A&M plays a 3-4 defense, so that means they're not really big on the defensive line. If you can find a bubble or a crease, there's yardage to be had there. And you see South Carolina State just attacking the bubble, getting upfield. And once you get into a power running like Chris Massey, he's getting extra yards after contact. I'll tell you what athlete Chris Massey is. Was on this team last year. Told you they had William Ford running the football. He was such a good athlete. He played wide receiver for them last year.
1st and 10 for South Carolina State from the 41. Long comes out firing, had his man open, was looking for Elmore, but led him just a little bit too much. A lot of great athletes, and we were down on the field before the game. Well, I'll tell you what, this Bulldog team, they certainly pass the eye test when they're out there warming up.
Yeah, when you see them, you can see why this is the number 9 ranked team in all the country in terms of FCS football. I mean, they're physical, they've got size, and they kind of change the dynamic of what you see in linemen. You know, I went to Howard University, HBCU, we used to have, you know, offensive linemen that weren't really cut. These guys are cut.
Massey off the left-hand side's got room to run. He's finally pushed out at the 31, but flags come out late. And you want to talk about balance so far for South Carolina State. 8 runs, 6 passing.
Yeah,
Let's do this one more time.
Yeah, they're getting it done. And look at the fullback here, Devin Wary, number 27. Look at that. Ah! That's how you seal the edge right there. If you can't get there, just get bodies up in the air. Not too often you see fullback leads.
And it's going to come back, though. Donnell Leathers, our head referee, says there was holding by the Bulldogs. Buddy Pugh looking on in 8 years at South Carolina State. And he said it all in the locker room before, and we thank him for letting us let our cameras come in there. He said, we're a program that is clean-cut, hard-nosed. We'll knock you on the fanny, and we'll help you up, and then we'll do it again.
And more importantly, said in between the whistles. See, so often you got teams that are tough, and they want to fight people, but they want to fight after the whistle's blown. They just like to beat you up on the snap of the ball.
Long getting pressure and decides just to throw this one into the ground. Almost a jailhouse break as everyone was coming. Demarius Folson putting the pressure on the quarterback, number 11, the 6'2", 15-pound sophomore from Madison, Florida.
You know, I think those wide receiver screens that South Carolina State likes to run, getting the ball to playmakers in space outside, a little bit tougher to run when you got a 3-4 defense. They've got 4 linebackers that can cover a lot of ground, and if just one of those linebackers is able to sniff it out, they can disrupt the timing on those screen passes.
3rd and 14 for South Carolina State. Long, he's going to swing it out to Massey. And Massey's not going to get the first down, barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose 3 as the Rattler defense rises up, led by Alfonso Walker, number 55, the junior from Eustis, Florida.
Florida A&M going back to that traditional cover 2 man that they like to play, and they've played for so many years down here. when you got man coverage, if you can do a good job of tackling, that's a great defense to be able to play.
So Blake Erickson comes on to punt it away for the Bulldogs. Number 6, Antonio Lawrence back to receive, the sophomore from Lakeland, Florida. Low punt, end over end. But again, it takes a big, oh, and the Bulldogs are going to get it down right at the 1. Wasn't much of a punt until it hit the turf, and then it turned into a 46-yard punt, and the Rattlers will take over deep in their own territory. This is the scene on the South Carolina State sideline. They are trying to dial up something because that offensive drive had nothing resembling the first drive that netted them 3 points.
You see right away right there, they're looking at 3-4 defense. How do we get to that bubble? How do we attack it? So maybe some confusion on the protection in terms of which inside linebacker is declaring the strong side.
1st and 10, ball resting just shy of the 2-yard line. Philip Sylvester will play it safe. They'll take it up to about the 5-yard line, a pickup of 3 for Florida A&M. This is a good time, Jay, for the Rattlers to establish a long drive, give their defense a chance to catch their breath.
Yeah, this is, the time where you're saying, when you're Joe Taylor, they said the team just looked at the schedule when they played South Carolina State. They knew the date of this football game. It's what they lifted weights for. Lifted weights for all season and summer long. So now the key is you need your offensive line to step up. These are what we call weight room yards right here. You got to protect the football. You got to be able to pound it and try and pick up a first down to give yourself some breathing room.
And there's a confusion on the Rattlers sideline. Martin Opie not liking what he saw. I want to remind you, Tuesday you can see ESPNU's latest college football show, The Experts, as hosts Lowell Galindo and the experts David Pollack, Ray Bentley, Jay Walker, Tom Luganbill, Bruce Feldman, and Mike Velotti provide unfiltered conversation about the hot topics in college football. The Experts on ESPNU, Tuesday at 1 Eastern. And in case you didn't see the live show, you can catch an encore presentation at 7 Eastern. Jay Walker getting in on the Experts. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about a little bit. I'm sure we'll be talking about plenty of that.
Yeah.
There'll obviously be a couple changes.
No question. Who do you think is most danger of losing in that top 10 tonight?
Obviously Oregon. I think Stanford's pretty good.
Really?
I think Stanford's pretty good. But they've got a quarterback. Anytime you've got probably the best quarterback in the country, then you're capable of pulling off a victory every week. So that'll be a good one. How about this? How about giving some props to your partner? Last week, didn't I tell you?
Yes, you
it's
did.
time to start mentioning Cam Newton for the Heisman Trophy.
Yes, you did.
Now everybody wants to hop on the bandwagon. I mentioned it 2 weeks ago.
2nd down and 7 while Jay pats himself on the back. Opie's in trouble. He's got to get out of the end zone and just barely does. He is taken down for a 2-yard loss. Number 5, Marshall McFadden was there, as was Courtney Ingram, number 11, putting the pressure on the Rattlers quarterback.
You'll see here, he's just looking for somebody to throw the ball to. He's got pretty good protection, but that's what you call secondary, just getting it done. And Marshall McFadden, from his inside linebacker position, just spying the quarterback, making the tackle. And yes, if you're a South Carolina State Bulldog fan, you hear the name Marshall McFadden, you've been hearing it for a long time. He's been in the program for 6 years. Medical red shirt, didn't get the opportunity to play, so he is definitely the captain on that defensive unit.
He is the senior from Lamar, South Carolina. 3rd down and 9 for Florida A&M. Looking for a first down in a big-time way. Kick it out of the backfield, and they're going to come up just short. Looked like momentarily he had enough forward progress, but did not cross. He needed to get up to about the 13-yard line as Isaac West made the reception for FAMU.
I think that's what they've got to get the ball to the wide receivers. I mean, we know Philip Sylvester's good, but they've got some playmakers at the wide receiver position. We talked about Isaac West and Kevin Elliott, and now they've got the newcomers really come and stepped up big time. Antonio Lawrence. So you can tell when you saw glimpses of it there. When you get the ball to these wide receivers, they can make some things happen.
3rd straight 3rd and out. Not good news for the Rattlers. Brandon Holdren comes on to kick it away. Number 18, Richard Christie, only at the 40-yard line, awaits this punt. When they brought it this time, and Holdren gets away a beautiful punt, driving him all the way back inside the 40 of South Carolina State to 39. That's a 51-yard punt. Located in Orangeburg, South Carolina, the Bulldogs, founded in 1896, an enrollment just under 5,000. And they were the 2009 ESPN National Champions. And they have quite a program there in Orangeburg. Coach Q's doing a fantastic job of getting kids, and more importantly, the kids that are not happy maybe with they're at the Citadel or West Virginia, wherever, that's a real nice option for them to come back to South Carolina State.
And go there and win some games.
Absolutely. On first down, they go back to the running game, and there is a big hole for Mr. Jordan. Number 23, Ashton Jordan, picks up 15 yards.
Now all of a sudden that weakness is starting to show up for Florida A&M defense in terms of having difficulty stopping the running. It looks like it's going to the right, but look at that lane. I mean,
Jake Johnson, 73, getting it done.
Yeah, that's too much over pursuit by one of the interior linebackers for Florida A&M. You know, you got to stay in your lane. You got to trust it. If you're going to play team defense, it's got to be team defense. If you're responsible for the A-gap, just because the ball goes away from you, don't think you still don't have to cover the A-gap.
Well, we talked to Coach on the loss of the play there as the FAMU defense rises up. Coach told us yesterday, Willie Farrell makes the tackle. Coach Taylor told us yesterday, we have got to be gap sound. That was one of the keys, he said, to win his game. Run the ball and be gap sound on defense.
Yeah, you've got to do that. And I think, you know, the offense is going to try and test you. And how do they test you? They give you some misdirection to see if you can stay in your gap when the ball's going away from you, or you're going to run away from it trying to be an aggressive football player.
Second down and 12. Chris Massey back into the game. And again, the Rattlers do a great job of wrapping up the runner. Well, we talked about the best marching band in the land, the Marching 100. And I'll tell you what, look who just showed up, the Marching 101.
101. So you have 101 of them. No, it's more like, it's a trick question. So it's more like 270 of them. And then you've got the world fame Marching 100. Are there about 100 of the Marching 100? No, not close. Tried 300.
3 times that. Third down and 11 for South Carolina State with the ball at the 46. Long with plenty of time has a man. Oh, and he got it to the hands of Linnell Elmore, and he could not bring it down. He was in traffic, but Long put it right on his mitts.
Yeah, that was one there where tough throw to make. You know, one thing about Linnell Elmore, he goes about 5'11", you know, so you don't have a big body to throw to going down the middle, so it's got to be a perfect throw. That time the throw was there, but the catch wasn't.
So for the second time in a row, South Carolina State has to punt it away, and Blake Erickson will come on to do the duties. Antonio Lawrence back to receive for the Rattlers, standing about his 6-yard line. From the 12, dangerous. Lawrence.
Fumble.
And the ball comes out, but the Rattlers get it back at the 22-yard line. So much better starting position for the Rattlers this time. Remember, they started at the 1. Here in Tallahassee, home of the Seminoles and the Florida A&M Rattlers. Founded in 1887. Enrollment just over 13,000. Talk about famous alum, Bullet Bob Hayes.
Amongst several.
Amongst several, but man, he talk about getting it done for the Cowboys.
Oh, definitely got it done. He was like the first guy they dubbed world's fastest human, so he would get it done. And you know, and this field here is called.
How about this guy, the Hawk?
You know, baseball is one of my first loves, so I had a chance to talk to him before the game, and I didn't want no piece of him, and I was a pitcher.
First and 10 for Florida A&M, has a man down there looking deep, good coverage. They were looking for number 80, Isaac West. Good coverage over the top from Dominique Ellis, the transfer from NC State.
So that's what you want to see from Florida A&M. You know, go ahead, soften them up in the secondary and see if you can find some creases. I mean, I really do think the strength of this offensive unit for Florida A&M is getting the ball to their playmakers in space. You know, I remember years ago they used to have something they called the Rack Boys down here. Everybody else called them Yak. They called themselves the Rack Boys. Run after the catch.
Second down and 10. They go back to the running game. There is nothing there. Philip Sylvester runs into a whole lot of Marshall McFadden for no gain.
Marshall McFadden, and then number 4, David Irby, plays what they call that dog linebacker position, which is really just a strong safety that likes to hit, likes to be real close to the line of scrimmage, and very aggressive, very physical in there. And, you know, early going, It doesn't seem as if the Florida A&M offensive line is going to be able to handle the physicality of the Bulldog defense, not just their front four, but the linebackers included.
I know Coach Taylor's not going to want to hear this, but this may be the last opportunity in the first quarter for the Rattlers to pick up their first down of the game. Opie back to pass, fakes, looks, has to cut it back inside, and again the speed of the defense. Julius Wilkerson one more time tracking down the quarterback and dropping him at the line of scrimmage. And the first quarter comes to a conclusion. South Carolina State on top, field goal on their first drive. We'll be back at Bragg Memorial Stadium for the second quarter after this.
In the Division.
You are watching ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's. South Carolina State on top of Florida A&M 3-0 alongside Jay Walker. I'm Todd Harris. Glad to have you with us here in Tallahassee. Last play, it's all that man, Mr. Wilkerson, Julius Wilkerson, getting it done.
Yeah, you'll see him coming from the outside linebacker position, joined by David Irby to bring the pressure. So they move Wilkerson to the end. You've got Irby, number 4, coming up the gap, and when you've got 2 linebackers blitzing, you're not going to outrun them. It's different if one is a defensive lineman, but when they send 2 linebackers up the same gap, if you don't recognize and have some linemen over there to protect you, you're going to get sacked, just like Florida A&M did just now.
Brandon Holdren on to punt it away. Richard Christie standing at about the 37-yard line. In the first quarter, not very kind to head coach Joe Taylor and his Rattlers. 4 4-and-outs. They failed to pick up a first down.
The saving grace is they're only down by 3 points. I think he would take that in a heartbeat.
Holdren backs Christie up to his 30, and he is immediately dropped there right at the 30. A 45-yard punt, 2-yard loss on the return. So South Carolina comes out again, looking to convert this drive into points, something they haven't done since their very first drive of the game.
And one of the things you have to do when you're going on the road, and I think you've noticed this crowd is starting to become a hostile environment. Right. They're getting into it, the defense is settling. You want to try and eliminate hope early, make the fans go home. But by you only having a 3-point lead, even though you thoroughly dominated them on the defensive side of the ball, they still feel like they're in this contest, and I think they are.
So on first down, South Carolina State has the ball, long rolling out, makes the throw, but it is way over his intended receiver, Linnell Elmore. He's his favorite target. They called him Superman in high school, and coaches say, we'll call him Superman when he earns that nickname here, but he has not done that yet.
Yeah, you've got to earn that one there. You know, we saw the drop earlier, so every now and then, I guess Florida A&M, that green on their jerseys, maybe kryptonite or something like that, but that throw for Malcolm Long, nice pocket, nice time, nice route, just a misfire. You've got to hit that throw, pick up the first down.
Second down and 10, ball at the 30. Hand it off to Massey. Chris Massey off the left-hand side, and a nice run gets him all the way out to about the 36-yard line. John Ojo brings him down after a 5-yard pickup.
You want to see what it takes to be an All-American lineman? Take a look at number 50, coming right in your backyard. He's got his guy on roller skates. That's how you seal the edge. His guy was never factoring the play, and they were running right at his hip. Johnny Colbert's taking his guy for a ride.
Third down and 5 for South Carolina State. Play clock's winding down. They're going to get this one away. They just barely do. And it's a handoff to Massey, and he's got nowhere to go. Falls forward, but Keir Hall, number 1, comes up. Call it no gain. The senior from Cocoa, Florida, makes the stop for the Rattlers.
Yeah, one of the things that they're doing, they're showing some respect to the Florida A&M defense, really trying to attack the perimeter. A lot of sweep left, sweep right. FAMU's got enough team defensive speed to do a good job of containing the outside edge.
So Blake Erickson, the punter, back on. What's been the difference, Jay, from South Carolina State's first drive, which they seemed they could do almost nothing wrong, to now?
Yeah, I think, you know, they've made some defensive adjustments on the Rattler side, so they've shored up the inside to stop the running game because they were running the ball hard up the middle, and they forced Florida A&M to run to the perimeter, to the edges.
Erickson gets it away. Antonio Lawrence takes it at the 27. Tripped up, but he's got himself a seam, stays on his feet, does a great job of getting out to the 38-yard line. And the Rattlers will try to get something going here and pick up at least a first down. 37-yard punt. We're back to Tallahassee after this.
I'm up at 5 cause mornings arrive, and I'm feeling alive cause I'm making it. The dollar menu at breakfast is impressive. I could be selective, I'm making it. You know the deal.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is brought to you by the new 2011 Lexus IS. Wheeled precision. Back in Tallahassee and a beautiful October evening and a great night for football. South Carolina State leading the homestanding Florida A&M Rattlers 3-0 as we are into the second quarter. 12:58 to play before the halftime extravaganza gets underway. And that man on the right, Andre the Hawk Dawson, having his number retired here at FAMU.
Yeah, long time coming. You know, what they're doing is, you know, they're going to hang his Raptor up during homecoming. It's going to fly with the Raptors here, so good appreciation for the Hawk.
Major League Baseball Hall of Famer this year, drafted by Montreal after his junior season. But I'll tell you what, he racked up a number of slugging championships, Gold Gloves, National League Most Valuable Player in '87, and the Rookie of the Year 10 years earlier.
That's hot.
He was leading them in the cheer, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. You know, being a former Bison, I would tell you there are few traditions like any other, but when the Rattlers tell you, what do Rattlers do, Todd?
Strike.
Strike.
And what?
Strike again. They got into it. That brings the crowd to the feet. You know, this is what we're talking about. Look at the Hawk. Strike and strike again.
Like he was bringing a two-seam fastball there. Back to the action on the field as Florida A&M has the ball, and hopefully the Hawk can inspire them to get some points as they have yet to pick up a first down and have not seen the end zone.
What position do you think Andre Dawson would have played on the football field?
Any position he wanted.
Linebacker mentality, I think.
Yeah, either that or free safety. First and 10 for the Rattlers. They go to the running game. Eddie Rocker gets the call, gets his first look at action. He'll pick up 2 yards for FAMU.
So you can tell one thing that Coach Taylor has, and you can tell him being around, he's got discipline. Yep. You know, and if the game plan calls for discipline to have a good run-pass ratio for the balance, and that's what they're going to try to do. So they're trying to show the balance, but every now and then when you've got those type of numbers in the first quarter, sometimes you throw the game plan out the window and you start all over and you go and you draw up some plays in the dirt. And I'd be drawing up some plays for some of the playmakers on the perimeter because they just might be a little too physical for you in the trenches this evening.
2nd down and 7. Opie with the give off the left-hand side. And again, there's nothing there but white jerseys as Eddie Rocker gets to the line of scrimmage. And the left corner, Samaj Moody, is there to greet him.
I mean, he's your cornerback. You talk about team speed on defense. Once they recognize it, watch him come up, seal the outside, done deal. And that's how you play cover 2 corner or boundary corner when you've got run stopping and you're supposed to force everything back to the inside. You recognize it, make a play, make him cut back inside, pick up a minimal yardage.
Coach Taylor in his 3rd year here in Tallahassee really hoping for a 3rd down conversion here to give his defense a break. Opie comes out firing, and he had his man. He had a first down, and number 80, Isaac West, unable to bring it in. Just a little too hot for him to handle.
Oh, man, that's what he's got to have. You know, I drew it up for you. Look at this. They're going to bring the blitz. You'll see Wilkerson coming up the middle, so they're actually just trying to confuse him, but he's got a nice pocket. Opie stands in there strong, delivers a throw there, and this is one you got to help out your quarterback. Slightly behind, but Isaac West, your senior wide receiver, body it up with that, catch it. You guys need a first down desperately. I didn't say badly, did I? Said desperately.
Brandon Holdren on once again for the Rattlers to put it away. Number 18, Richard Christie, standing back at his 12. Christie gets it at the 15, calls for a fair catch. 41-yard punt. Join host Lowell Galindo with Mike Bellotti and Tom Luganville for BCS Countdown for in-depth analysis of the week and a look ahead to week number 6. The BCS Countdown presented by Discover on ESPNU and ESPNU HD. That's Monday at 6 Eastern. A whole lot to talk about after this weekend, and I asked you a little bit earlier when we were talking about top players. Who'd be on your Heisman shortlist right now if you had? I'll give you three. Three on the shortlist.
Robinson
from Michigan.
Newton from Auburn.
Okay.
The man is back. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And Mark Ingram is back. I see no reason why, if he has a good game tonight, why he's not right back at the top of that list. I mean, he's averaging 150 yards per game in 2 games. So I think, he's running hard. The team continues to win.
Ashton Jordan on a 3-yard pickup. I can't believe you don't have Andrew Luck on that list.
Yeah, don't have a quarterback on there. They're going up and down. The quarterback, as soon as you get there.
I think if he goes into Autzen tonight and they get the victory over Oregon, he's going to be on everyone's list.
I agree with you there.
Rattlers defense doing a great job of stringing this one out. Ashton Jordan running east and west and not north and south. Number 97, Kendrick Washington, the big senior from Sebastian River, Florida, 6'5", 275, bringing him down for a 5-yard loss.
Yeah, good job of getting there and using his size to get the long reach, to get a big hand on him, and then make the tackle on Ashton Jordan. It's one of those young mistakes there. Certain teams can get away with running east and west, but when you're in a good team that's got plenty of steam speed, you got to run north-south.
3rd and 12. Rattlers would love to get their offense back onto the field. Long out of the gun. Looking deep, has a man wide open. The reception is made. And it's once again Linnell Elmore, the sophomore from Allendale, South Carolina, 14-yard pickup, and they move the chains.
Anytime you're going to take advantage of the vertical passing game, you must have time. Look at this pocket. I mean, that's a perfect pocket right there. You can draw a little circle right in there, halo, whatever you call it, 3-yard halo area there. That's great protection up front.
3 catches for Linnell Elmore on the night. It's a 1st and 10, ball at the 32. Making the 27 just short. Stretch play out to the side. Ashton Jordan once again with room to run. Almost enough for another 1st down, a pickup of about 9 yards. Anthony Shutt and John Ojo come up and make the stop.
And I like the play call selection right now, just with the personnel. They went to a balanced formation, brought in an extra tight end, line up one tight end on each side, make Florida A&M declare a strength or a weakness of the defense, and just attack and get some big bodies leaning on them. Right now you're seeing South Carolina State showing you the power game, going with 2 tights, 1 back, trying to just pick a hole where they're going to run the football.
And give him a spot, he gets the 1st down. So on 1st and 10, back to the running game go the Bulldogs. And again, off the left-hand side, plenty of running room for the Citadel transfer, Ashton Jordan.
Once again, you're going to run the football on the left side, go behind Johnny Colberth and take a look at him, just getting the body on there. Once he gets his hands on you, it's over. It's over. Just keep on pushing. I mean, how unfair is that? That's almost, when you got one guy, you just line him up over, it's like you're wasting a player there. If I was a coach, I may put like my worst defender over him, just assuming he's going to get blocked anyway.
Johnny Colbert, 6'5", 310 senior from Monroe, Georgia. We're going to go to the power formation now, something we haven't seen from the Bulldogs today. Chris Massey off the right-hand side, but flags come out. Massey all the way down to the 38-yard line, but again, infraction flags coming out, a 14-yard pickup.
Flag on the play. Hold it. On the offense, number 65, 10 yards, replay 1st down.
Javar Nathan, the junior from Ladson, South Carolina, a 2009 All-MEAC first-teamer. He's saying, it wasn't me.
Hold it or not, I'll tell you, that was impressive. When the team lines up and tells you what they're going to do, and they do it, I mean, that lets you know how strong they are up front.
So it backs up the Bulldogs inside the 40, ball placed at the 39. 1st down and 18 for South Carolina State, up 3-0 on Florida A&M with 8:50 to play here in the 1st half. Massey with the call, bounces off the 1st tackler, gets over the 40-yard line. They'll mark it at about the 42, pickup of 3 yards.
We've been doing college football games all over the country. When's the last time you can think of a team just lining up in power I and sticking with it? Besides, 3rd and 1 or 2, 4th and goal line. I mean, they're lining up I formation. Here it comes. And they're just telling you we're that much stronger than you. At least we think we are. And then when you back it up with a quarterback that weighs 250+ pounds, I guess you call that the heavy backfield?
A lot of coaches will say we got to establish the run and stick with the run, and Coach Pugh's shown that they're going to do more than that. They're going to ride this horse. Long has his man out of the backfield. Chris Massey releasing late. He gets up to about the 50-yard line, mark it at the 49, a pickup of 8 yards for the Bulldogs.
I'm really impressed with Chris Massey. You know, he runs the ball hard, and watch the hands here. He's going to catch the ball in space, and once you get it there, you got to make the first guy miss. Put a move on him, get to the outside, lower the shoulder. You know, he's a total package. You mentioned he used to play wide receiver, so he's one of those guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got that shake, he's got that burst, and he's got that size and speed.
Ashton Jordan now checks into the game. They're going with a 4-receiver set as Malcolm Long will operate out of the shotgun.
Trying to change the play. They better hurry up and get this off.
Play clock at 3. The officials are going to come in and blow this dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was too close.
Smart timeout. Smart timeout. 2 seconds on the clock. You got the ball in pretty good field position. You get this first down, can probably lead to a scoring drive. Don't chance it. You know, most coaches don't mind if you burn timeouts in the first half. Second half, that's a different story. But the first half, they don't tend to mind.
So you see the Sheridan Broadcasting Network poll. South Carolina State rated the #1 team, Florida A&M 5. We had a chance to see Grambling last week in Dallas, and pretty good game for them, taking out Prairie View A&M.
That was, and you know, good to see Tennessee State there. I think the biggest shocker on that board there is the number 18. Morehouse, 5-0. Wow. I mean, you're talking about a program that 2 or 3 years ago was, you know, winning 2 or 3 games per year. They're off to a great start. The key is, can they make it last? You know, and I think if you look at the top 2 teams, Grambling and South Carolina State, you know, what we've noticed is they both have very athletic linemen. You know, when it was Grambling, they can enforce their will on you. The athleticism within their interior line play. I think South Carolina State is no different.
Folks from South Carolina State happy to be here. They've filled up the hotel. They brought a whole bunch of people, plus the Marching 101, and a bit of a drive down from Orangeburg. They said about 6.5 hours.
Yeah, but they sold out all their tickets, and then they went back and got some more. Winning is contagious. Everybody wants a piece of the action, don't they?
3rd down and 6 for South Carolina State. Ball resting at midfield. Long out of the gun after the timeout. Has his man up to about the 45-yard line. Randall Hawkins, number 81, making the reception for a 4-yard pickup. Short of the first down, so it's going to be punting time once again for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this is interesting, you know, concept here. You're close enough where you start to thinking about possibly going for it with the big front that you had. That last pass play, you had several options, the guys that were open. If you're Florida A&M, be careful of the punt fake right now. But I call it the punt fake the fake punt. That's the part of the field where a lot of special teams coaches like to pull out their gadget plays.
Blake Erickson on to punt for the Bulldogs. He'll kick it away. Antonio Lawrence back at about the 10-yard line. No fair catch. In traffic, does a great job at first, and then the flags come out as he's tackled at about the 12-yard line. We'll find out what the infraction was, but it was a 34-yard punt. And I'm with you, Jay. I thought for sure this was time for a little trickery.
They had the field position that you want. Big offensive line.
On the return team, number 51, 10 yards from the bottom of the foul. First down.
Donnell Leathers making the call, so the Rattlers will take over when we return to Tallahassee. 6:43 to play in the first half. Back in Tallahassee, South Carolina State holding a 3-0 lead over the homestanding Florida A&M Rattlers. FAMU still looking for their first points and their first down. And Jay, this is their 6th possession. They have a total, and I'm saying this again, a total of 22 yards and no first downs.
Whew. Sounds like a lot of 3 and outs.
That's stale.
Only down by 3 points.
That is the silver lining there as they go back to the running game. It has not been great tonight. But Philip Sylvester trying to change that. He'll pick up 2 yards And David Irby, number 4, comes over to make the stop, helped out by Ronell Ferguson.
Yeah, you can tell how tough the running is there. I mean, Philip Sylvester gave maximum effort just to gain those 2 yards, so the yards are very difficult to come by for Florida A&M. I still insist that you got to find a way to attack the perimeter, get the ball to those wide receivers. Now, you've had to drop ball already, but keep throwing it, keep throwing it. It wasn't the quarterback's fault. He's not rattled yet. Get the ball to some of those playmakers out in open space.
2nd down and 7. Opie on the give off the right-hand side. Cuts it back up, and he keeps his legs going. Does Philip Sylvester. He'll pick up 3 more yards. Yari King, number 13, comes up and makes the stop. Well, here in Tallahassee on a beautiful October night alongside Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris. All eyes of the HBCU world on Tallahassee this weekend because you basically have the number 1 and the number 5 teams going at it. South Carolina State has owned the Rattlers in the last 7 years, but head coach Joe Taylor feeling like he has the players this year to maybe get it done. And so far, despite the dismal offensive output, they're only down by 3.
They're down by 3 points still in the game, so that's got to be disappointing for Coach Buddy Pugh. If you're Joe Taylor, you just want a spark to get the offense going.
0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions. This is a 3rd and 4. We're going to make it 0 for 6 as they will lose 1.5 yards, call it 2 yards on that play. As Philip Sylvester, unable to find any room to run, Pat Washington, number 53, met him at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's tough to run, and you know, not only the South Carolina State front 7 are they big, but they're fast and they're aggressive. And so you're trying to run the football against them right now is not your strength. I think the key is the matchup with your good offensive weapons at wide receiver for Florida A&M against the secondary. The secondary is the only question marks with the South Carolina State Bulldog defense. They're looking like All-Americans tonight.
Richard Christie back to receive, low line driving punt. Christie will have a chance to return this, gets it at the 40. Cuts it back up inside, has a couple blockers, nice move, gets inside FAMU territory down to about the 42-yard line, a 17-yard return after a 48-yard punt. I want you to log on to facebook.com/ESPNU today and become a fan. We want to know this question. Who is the best quarterback in college football right now? Jay Walker?
Are we talking NFL ready? Or are we talking about
best quarterback in college football right now?
Wow, I mean, so
today.
There's so many of them. Obviously, you know, you talked about Andrew Luck. Yep. You know, I like Nick Foles a lot out of Arizona.
True.
Terrell Pryor, Denard Robinson, if you want the guys, the dual threat guys there, Cam Newton we talked about before.
Ball put on the deck, and Malcolm Long, the senior, able to cover it up. I'm with you, though. I think Andrew Luck, just watching him, I'd like to see him tonight, but he's got to be at the top of your list. And this guy, we saw him a few weeks ago just destroy Colorado State. We'll see him next week against San Jose State. Colin Kaepernick.
Yep.
Big kid, runs like a gazelle. And
I think every time you see his stats, they need to put his size there.
Yeah.
I mean, at 6'6", 240 pounds, but can run easily, makes everything look easy. Fantastic athlete.
2nd down and 10. South Carolina trying to get in the end zone before the half ends. It's 23, Ashton Jordan, who transferred from the Citadel, comes over, and Demarius Folson makes the stop after a 1-yard pickup.
Now, not to belabor the point, but this is how incredible the college football season can change. Give us one name we did not mention when you talk about the best quarterbacks.
And that's Ashton Jordan that is down on the play, just carried the ball for the 1-yard pickup. Yeah, you know what, here's another name, Kellen Moore from Boise State, Mr. Efficient.
But we didn't mention who many people thought was the #1 pick going into the season.
Jake Locker.
Jake Locker, so it tells you how quickly things can change. And that's unfortunate sometimes. They judge it by 1 or 2 bad performances.
Here's the last play again, is Ashton Jordan, number 23, had the carry injured on the play.
Yeah, you see he was going to be tackled low, then some extracurricular activity. He got low, then they give him for a stretch, and then you got 2 more people over him. So,
yeah, Folson and Holcomb came up and made the stop, and he just got bent backwards. Well, I'm sure that's a subject the experts, which my partner is part of, will take part in. Tuesdays, you'll see our latest college football show on ESPNU, The Experts. Host Lowell Galindo, David Pollack, Ray Bentley, Jay Walker, Tom Luganville, Bruce Feldman, and Mike Pilati provide unfiltered conversation about hot topics in college football. The Experts on ESPNU, that's Tuesday at 1 Eastern. And if you don't see the live show, you can always catch the rebroadcast, the encore presentation at 7 Eastern on the U.
See, that's why those Facebook questions, you know,
that throws you, doesn't it?
Because then for the rest of the night, I'll be thinking about quarterbacks we didn't mention. You know who else we didn't mention?
Darren Thomas from Oregon.
Thomas from Oregon. Ryan Mallett, Arkansas.
Matt Barkley, USC, quietly leading his team to 4-0.
You'll be thinking about it all day, all the good quarterbacks out there.
Ashton Jordan being taken off the field, and they will get a good look at him. But once again, he was folded back, knees caught underneath him, and he was bent back. Try to find out what his injury is. Total yards today, and this is pretty much the key to the game. South Carolina State has 148. FAMU 27. But as Jay has pointed out time and time again, they're only down by 3 points. 3rd down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Long comes out firing, has Chris Massey in the flat. He's going to be just short, but a nice pickup by number 26 Massey, a 9-yard pickup. Alvis Graham, the defensive vocal leader, pushed him out. Junior from Orlando goes 6'2", 225.
I see what they're starting to do. Get the ball to Massey in space on the outside. But that was a clear out route. They had 2 wide receivers just clearing out the space. Massey ran through the picks, picked up good positive yardage.
So on a 4th and 1, South Carolina State is going to go for it. They're 4 for 6 on 4th downs this season. This would be big. And I don't think he got there, Jay.
The initial surge was there. He had plenty of momentum going towards the line of scrimmage, but one of those big defensive linemen got hold of him on the lower part of his body to slow down the leg movement.
Give credit to Anthony Shutt, number 36, and big Willie Farrell, number 7, making the stop. So the Rattlers will take over with 2:48 to play in the first half, looking for points and a 1st down.
We enhanced the driver's sensation of speed in the Lexus supercar by partnering with the craftsmen at Yamaha Music to acoustically tune our engine. This is shaping the future while stirring the senses. This is the pursuit of the impossible. This is the pursuit of perfection.
Style points don't show up in the box score. Talking a good game has never won a championship. And we're sorry to break it to you. It's not the shoes. It's the work, the pride, the blood, and the tears. Because Russell's wicking sweat out of the equation. Russell Dry Power Moisture wicking tees and fleece. The next evolution in over 100 years of raw performance.
What's your 2:30 feeling like?
Sometimes my whole day is a 2:30 feeling. Get home from one job, start my 2nd job, and I'm running on empty. So I turned to 5-Hour Energy. I was a little nervous at first, but my husband kept talking about how great 5-Hour Energy was. 0 sugar, only 4 calories. So I finally tried it. For once, he was right.
Told you so.
For both my jobs, I count on 5-Hour Energy.
5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now. No 2:30.
Well, the story on the sideline for South Carolina State, Ashton Jordan, the 6'2" sophomore from Summerville, South Carolina, being worked on. We'll try to get a report on his condition. With 2:48 to play in the first half, it is South Carolina State on top, 3-0. Those 3 points came on their very first drive, and it has been an offensive drought for both teams since then. 1st and 10 after the 4 and out. Rattlers take over. Opie looking downfield, had a man, but the ball was tipped, but a flag comes out late.
They got to wave that off.
But it was going to be waved off because the ball was tipped. The back judge, I don't know if he saw the tip or not, but he threw his flag. Julius Wilkerson gets the tip, number 56.
Yeah, and this is what you mean by the effort. Just get there, tip the ball, because if it's not tipped, you know, pass interference would have been called. So good defense there, and the Bulldogs continue to impress defensively. I mean, that was going to be a tough throw to get in there.
More importantly, he makes that catch, or the pass interference, they get a 1st down.
So the streak is still alive.
The streak is
still
alive,
you talk about, you know, in football terms, we say, hey, can you pitch a shutout? I mean, they're pitching a perfect game right now.
Not the one they want if you're head coach Joe Taylor. 2nd down and 10. Ball now at the 35.
Right here in Bragg, so don't get up out of your seats.
Opie back to pass, pocket collapsing around him, flushed out to his left. He's going to turn and run this. And a nice pickup. Once again, though, it's 56. Julius Wilkerson making the stop 7-yard gain for the Rattlers.
Yeah, Wilkerson's got a good motor. You know, you can just tell. I mean, he was in there for the initial pursuit on the quarterback to flush him out of the pocket. And then you'll see Wilkerson there. He's going to go with a spin move. He gets to the outside. Watch him chase him down. Irby's going to miss the tackle, but there's Wilkerson there. That's how you play linebacker team defense.
He is all over the place tonight is Julius Wilkerson, the senior from Gaffney, South Carolina. 3rd down and 2. 2:18 to play in the first half. And the streak is over. 1st down, Rattlers, and then some. All the way down to the 43-yard line, and Florida A&M is moving. Brian Times makes the catch and picks up the 1st down.
Yeah, you think the Rattler faithful know that that was their first down? A quick decision, tree snap read, throw the hitch route, get it to the playmakers in space. They can make good things happen for you there.
May be just what the Rattlers need. 7 possessions, 1 1st down, but they're in good field position, ball at the 42. Plenty of time. And that time, Martin Opie rushed it. He was looking for the freshman, number 14, LaShawn Toots.
Yeah, that's that throw there as a quarterback. It's got to be an accurate throw. Much tougher to do than it looks. It's a short throw, but it's got to be accurate. You want to hit the receiver in stride going towards the line of scrimmage. That last pass there, Opie led him too much.
Stops the clock, 1:44 to play. Both teams have 2 timeouts here in Tallahassee. South Carolina State on top by way of the field goal in their first possession, 3-0. 2nd down and 10. Opie from the gun. Has time. They set up the screen. They've got a man down there, and he's got blockers. He's knocked out about the 30, call it the 37-yard line. It's Philip Sylvester with a 5-yard pickup. Donovan Richard making the stop for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, when you got an aggressive defensive front, what do? Try and give them some misdirection or some screen passes. Get the ball to Philip Sylvester. I think they're done trying to run the football on the inside. Let's try and attack the outside.
Well, you made that point back in the first quarter. I think they may be a little too physical for him, South Carolina inside.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, South Carolina State's going to be more physical than most football teams. I mean, when you look at their playoff run last year when they took on Appalachian State, they beat them up in the trenches. Sure. It was just Armani Edwards making plays on the perimeter that got them sent home.
3rd down and 5 for the Rattlers. Another 1st down. Kelvin Scott, the junior from Orlando. 6-yard pickup, and the Rattlers have moved the chains again.
Yeah, that's Kevin Elliott. He's been a starter here since his freshman year at Florida A&M, and you know he's one of those guys I like. I mean, he's got the size you're looking for. 6'3", 195 pounds. You know, one of those run after catch type guys as well. So now when you're spreading them out, you're starting to see them starting to have some success, figuring out that maybe we need to attack the Bulldog secondary, as was suggested by Professor J in the lesson plan.
1st and 10, Florida A&M, ball just outside the 30. Opie looks to set up the screen. The defense of South Carolina State was not buying it. Fullwood and Ayers make the stop, but David Irby, talk about being gap sound.
Yeah, you see here, he's going to make a quick decision. What happens when you get a quarterback getting pressure? Young guy starts getting happy feet. Didn't take him long to decide to tuck that football and start running. And then in the case here, it's 1st down. You pick up positive yardage. Hey, no harm, no foul. You got 3 yards on the play. 2nd and 7 coming up. I think that's manageable, and you can still attain the 1st down there. So that's a good decision by Martin Opie, not comfortable in the pocket, taking off and running.
Joe Taylor takes one of his timeouts. As we take a look at the MEAC Conference title, South Carolina State has 12. Florida A&M has 7. Between them, they pretty much own the titles for the last 25, 30 years.
They have. You know, Hampton University had a stranglehold on this conference for a while. They're going through their rebuilding process there, but you know, South Carolina State's trying to match that run that was made by Hampton when they won 3 consecutive MEAC titles. Well, South Carolina State's got 2 in a row. Can they get the trifecta or the 3-peat?
How important is this drive for the Rattlers? Not only if they can get some points through either a field goal or a touchdown, but giving their defense a chance to catch their win and then go in with some momentum into the locker room at half.
Plenty of momentum, and the fact of the matter is, I mean, if you can get the lead and go in 7-3, you stole it. I mean, because you got outplayed for the first.
If they can get a field goal, Jay, they got to feel like they stole it.
Yes, they do.
2nd down and 7. Ball just inside the 28-yard line. Opie back to pass, has time, has a man across the middle, picked off. Christian Thompson ends that. The transfer from Auburn on the tip pass. They were going across the middle. The pass was just a bit too high, and Thompson comes up with it and returns it back to about the 30.
Take a look. This is going to be going over to the left side of your screen. High pass, just got away from him. Good read with the football. Had a wide receiver that was open. Just an inaccurate throw. Cost him big time. Took points off the board.
Let's get it one more time.
Yeah, high throw there, trying to get the ball to Tukes over there. And Tukes tried to jump up and get it, but need a more accurate throw there. That was a big one.
On the first 6 drives for Florida A&M, 29 yards over 6 drives. The Bulldogs go back to the running game. Massey with the carry. That drive, they got 37 yards. John Ojo makes the stop. So a big defensive stand for the Bulldogs when the Rattlers looked like they were going to seize the momentum as we go under a minute. Look at Christian Thompson, 6'2", 210. As we said, the transfer from Auburn found himself a home in South Carolina. Back to Massey on the running game. Look at that, just driving forward, carrying Rattlers to him all the way up to the 48-yard line. Greg Harvey, the strong safety, has to come up and make the stop.
Yeah, now that you've crossed midfield, I think you get aggressive mode. Call your timeout, save that clock. Oh, they burned a lot of time. They could have easily had almost close to a minute once they crossed midfield to go from being defensive and going into the half to being aggressive. Now trying to figure out how can we get some more points and maybe add them to our lead going into the half.
So both teams now have 1 timeout left with 38 seconds remaining here in the first half.
I told him, boy, I'm gonna get him cut him serious now. They're serious now.
And next week, we head out to the land of the cannon. That thing will give you absolute anxiety fits. Colin Kaepernick and the Nevada Wolfpack host San Jose State. David Diaz-Infante's alma mater comes to Reno, to California. They beat down BYU in Provo. This is a team that I'm telling you right now, the Broncos, when they come to town to play Reno, that is going to be quite the game.
Yeah, I think, that's the one everybody's eyeing, because everybody always said, well, if Boise State gets by Virginia Tech and then Oregon State, that's it, they're going to cruise. Well, Nevada saying not so fast, and if that can only help Boise State if Nevada continues to win out and look impressive like they've been doing, then you've got to give Boise State some more style points for that victory.
Yeah, no question about it. They talk about their schedule. Well, if the teams in the WAC continue to do well, you're going to basically be looking at Nevada playing 3 top 20 ranked teams over their schedule. Now, if you look to the big conferences, maybe the Big Ten, how many top 20 teams is Ohio State going to play?
And it all comes down to who's going to play. And looking at Nevada, I mean, they're ranked there. Then you talk about Stanford. Wow, Stanford's top 10. Shouldn't they be studying? Are they the top 10?
Texas drops 14 spots to 21 after that absolute debacle in Austin. The Bruins, of all people, come in there, and not to take anything away from UCLA, but they just took it to the Longhorns to their own place. And Joe Paterno continues to set records tonight on ESPN. You can see him taking on Iowa.
It's going to be tough to get close to that mark tonight. That Iowa team is very good, especially when you talk about the front four. Coach Ferentz has those guys just getting after people. Probably the best defensive line in the country. And then you got senior leadership in the quarterback by Ricky Stanzi. Went out there and got a little shot, though. Arizona knocked them off, humbled them a little bit.
Is this a great time of year or what? 38 seconds remaining, 2nd down and 4. Ball at the 48. Long looking, has time, pocket collapse. Has enough arm strength to get out to his man, who makes the reception at the 36. That's number 12, Thomas Williams. And it's a 10-yard pickup for South Carolina State.
Yeah, now get the play, get set. You know, they're moving the chains. The clock is stopped. So they should be up there in position, getting set, not letting all the clock tick. Time tick off the clock. Get it snapped. Well, they're wasting 10 seconds on the play selection.
Long comes out firing, has his man, gets his toes down. Linnell Elmore, 6-yard pickup, goes out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. 18 seconds remaining, 4 catches on the night for Elmore.
This is one here where we talked about Malcolm Long and the physical size that he's got there. I think having that extra mass kind of helped him with that last one. He was in the grasp of a lineman. Still managed to get that ball there with nothing but arm strength. The guy hanging from his left shoulder.
Well, their kicker, Blake Erickson, his career long is a 44-yarder right now with the ball sitting at the 33. about a 48-yard. They need a few more yards to get him comfortable. Long back to pass again, has his man in traffic. The reception is made just inside the 25, another 10-yard pickup. Randall Hawkins, number 81, comes up, and the Bulldogs are rallying.
You should kill the ball. Go ahead, kill the clock. You got the first down. Downs aren't going to be your biggest issue. The clock is. Good job by South Carolina State. Now get your best play selection called now.
What do you think? Is this a two-play situation or just one?
I think it's two-play, and if I was Florida A&M, I'd look out for the double move. You know, setting them up. They're probably thinking something's going to be real quick because of the clock. Well, you can go ahead and get a pump fake and get it down there in time with 10 seconds left. But I'll tell you what, I bet you they wish they had that 10 seconds that they just wasted standing around trying to get the play selection.
South Carolina State still has a timeout. Florida A&M does not. 10 seconds remain. Ball sitting at the 25-yard line. You know what you can do right now, Jay, is really throw them off as a draw.
Listening to you.
Right up the middle. Didn't work, though. Chris Massey trying to catch them off guard, but the Rattlers were wise to it. Ball down at the 22. Jerry Willis, number 98, makes the stop, and the Bulldogs burn their last timeout. So they'll bring in Blake Erickson. And I'll tell you, Jay, we talked about momentum for the Rattlers on that drive before the interception. Is this just a killer? I mean, you had a chance to take the lead or tie it. Now you're looking to be down 6, but it's still just one score. And I think for Coach Taylor, as poorly as they played in the first half, as we look at the interception again, they're lucky to still be in this game only down by 3 right now.
Yeah, they were driving. They got their first down and carried that momentum all the way down the field. And you know, they had the points that they were going to get, and they ended up taking off the board. Now it's going to be reversal. South Carolina State, doing like a good team would do, they'll make you pay for making those mistakes.
Erickson on for another 38-yarder, made his first 38-yarder. And he's 2 for 2. So with 1 second left in the first half, Blake Erickson has accounted for all the scoring for both teams. 6-0, South Carolina State on top. As the clock goes to 0, the Bulldogs will take a 6-0 lead at the half.
Came in here with all the high-powered offense and what they've been doing, and Florida A&M said not so fast. And that's the difference when you get to conference play. You know, you can go out there and beat some teams non-conference, but conference plays like your neighbors. You know, and your neighbors know you, and they don't believe the hype. You got to prove it.
As we go to break, 6-0, Bulldogs on top of Rattlers here in Tallahassee, Florida.
One on ESPNU.
You are watching ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's. Tailgate week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. Alongside Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris. South Carolina State on top, 6-0 over Florida A&M. And you heard the impassioned plea from head coach Joe Taylor. We're in a heavyweight fight.
We are in a heavyweight fight, and I think the end of that was the more important thing there.
Sure.
Eddie Leadus. So they're making a quarterback change, going to Eddie Battle to come in, the senior quarterback, to come on. You talk about Eddie Leadus, Eddie Leadus. Well, you heard the team get sparked up behind him, so let's see if he can lead him. If you're Coach Taylor, fortunately for you, Eddie Battle has been your starting quarterback before. And he was a gentleman that started before Curtis Pulley came and kind of took over the program mid-season. So Eddie Battle, a season and a half ago, was your starting quarterback. They're relying on Battle to lead them to victory tonight.
Trevor Scott, the junior from Jacksonville, Florida, will kick it off, and we are underway in the second half here in Tallahassee. Ball goes through the end zone, and South Carolina State will start at the 20. Now, they will not be making a quarterback change. Malcolm Long hasn't been sensational, but he's been relatively efficient.
He's been efficient at times, you know, and they've moved the ball. They've gotten the ball in the Florida A&M territory on several occasions. It's just a matter of they've had to settle for 2 field goals, and their offense seems to sputter somewhere around the 30-yard line. So they've got to figure out a way to punch the ball in there to the end zone. And you know, we'll give credit to that Rattler defense. They definitely are showing you what it means to have a bend but don't break defense.
We talked about them only picking up 2 first downs in the first half, only down by 6. Chris Massey in the backfield, he gets the call on the first play in the second half. He picks up 5 yards as Alfonso Walker, number 55, makes the stop for the Rattlers. We know the adjustments that FAMU is going to make on offense, going with the backup quarterback. What do they need to do on defense to turn this thing around, Jay?
They still have to figure out a way to play gap defense. I mean, that last running play was a perfect example of why they struggled. You know, the ball was designed to go to the right side. Somebody overran the ball, and there was a big cutback lane for the running back.
Long trying to set up a screen, has the arm strength to get it out there, and has in man Antoine Carr gets the ball, and what a great receiver to come back and help out his quarterback. Moves the change. Let's go back to the first. Well,
this is all long.
This play first.
This is all long. Look at it. He's going backwards, completely backwards. Squares up his legs. Has enough of a gun of a right arm to get that ball there moving backwards. You either have the arm strength or you don't. Malcolm Long's got it.
Jerry Willis was putting the pressure on Long. He's able to get off, and 13-yard pickup for the Bulldogs. 1st and 10. Ball at the 38. The Bulldogs come out firing once again. Antoine Kerr, the big tight end, 6'2", 250 junior from Augusta, Georgia. Keir Hall has to make the stop, but it's a 19-yard pickup again for South Carolina State.
Yeah, you know, one of the things we talked about them having issues with are, you know, the gap protection. So take a look at the A gap on your left side. That's the one there where, you know, they're overrunning it. So you got a linebacker that's in that A gap. Well, he gets washed down. Who's in that A gap? The play was designed to go to the right. Running back made an adjustment, cut back to the left. No good team defense.
Back to live action. Long has his man. That ball's going to be picked off. Intercepted by number 11, Demarius Folson. Give credit, though, for Marquise Ramos, number 91, for putting the pressure on Malcolm Long.
They're rolling out again, and you know, this time you're going to see the linebacker do a good job of undercutting that route. He had a wide open wide receiver, didn't lead him. And when you're scrambling, many times you lose your accuracy. He threw that ball a little bit too far across his body. And Folsom, who had a great start in the first half with the interception, getting his team right back into it.
So big momentum shift for the Rattlers early on. They take over at the 27-yard line with a new quarterback at the helm. This is number 8, the senior from Titusville, Florida, Eddie Battle. Sylvester gets the call early on, but he picks up some nice yards, 4 yards to be exact for the Rattlers. And this is exactly what your new quarterback Battle needs, a nice sustained drive.
Yes, with a little bit of a running game, and you can hear the crowd getting into it as they announce that Eddie Battle's a starter in there for the football game. For the rest of this game, they would think, but that's what you need. You can start running the ball, pounding the football. The difference you're going to see between Battle and Opie is the fact that Battle doesn't have the mobility. So sometimes that's a good thing. When you have a quarterback that's not concerned about running, he's worried about picking apart a defense and staying in the pocket and passing.
The give is to the freshman, Tukes. He gets around the side. Lashard Tukes, the freshman from Jacksonville, Florida. He'll pick up 3 yards. Well, here's the big test as Marshall McFadden makes the stop for the Bulldogs. A 3rd down play. I'll tell you what, if Eddie Battle can convert here, it'll be huge.
And that's the flip side to the equation. And the downside, you know, and I don't know if you saw, but when Coach Taylor was speaking, you know, Opie was in his locker, just slunched over by himself. And it's kind of a tough thing sometimes to have your teammates get fired up behind another quarterback. But you don't take it personally. I mean, they want to win. You're not going to play your best football every night. In this case, they just want to win, and he should be trying to cheer on Eddie Battle.
3rd down and 3 for the Rattlers. Battle back to pass, quick throw, and that one was nearly picked off. A perfect read by Shamaj Moody, the senior from Denmark, South Carolina.
That's a good job by the cornerback there. You're giving just enough cushion to the wide receiver where the quarterback thinks he can take the easy throw with the hitch, but you keep him in good enough distance and striking range where if that ball's coming, you're either going to pick it, take it to the end zone, or at least knock it down.
Hardest working man on the night for the Rattlers, Brandon Holdren, to put it away to number 18, Richard Christie. And the Bulldogs bring just about everyone, but Holdren gets away a beautiful punt, driving Christie all the way back to the 15-yard line, a 48-yard punt. And that's where the Bulldogs will take over with 12:02 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Up early in the morning, thought my day would be whack. I turn on.
This telecast is presented in high definition on ESPNU HD by Comcast.
You are watching ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's. Right now, let's take a look at some of the action from halftime, brought to you by McDonald's.
HBCUs, here we go. See you, leave you on the ground. I wouldn't want to be you either. MEAC swag, leave you at a rack. Yeah, we run you off the field, so you never coming back. Read up. HBCUs, here we go.
That was tonight's McDonald's bringing the flavor. And I'll tell you what, two of the best marching bands you'll see. We saw the Marching 100 and the Marching 101.
I mean, that was fantastic there.
Yep.
You know, there was a heavy dose of tribute paid to Dr. William T. Foster, legendary Florida A&M band director who they acknowledged here tonight. Even South Carolina State band said he changed collegiate bands forever.
No question about it. Chris Massey getting the call on the first down, loses 1 yard into the teeth of that Rattler defense. Band's already back in the seat. It was awesome. I mean, I've seen some good bands. They talked about dotting the I at Ohio State and the Trojan Marching Band at USC, but the show that FAMU and South Carolina State put on was tremendous. It really was.
It was as good as advertised.
Yeah.
I was telling you, get ready. And it was great, but I will tell you this. If you think Florida A&M South Carolina State's a good band contest, you should see when Florida A&M plays Bethune-Cookman in the Florida Classic.
Get after it.
Bethune's band is just as large as FAMU's.
Second down and 11 for the Bulldogs. Pressure coming, Long gets it away, and that was all on him. Malcolm Long, 6'3", 250 from Gaffney, South Carolina, does a great job just staying on his feet.
You know, that's a good job. They're bringing pressure there. You know, and you see the pressure come, you got a guy running free. He's going to try and step up, not there. Has the wherewithal to get rid of the football, not take the sack. That's the senior leadership you want to have from your quarterback.
John Ojo, the sophomore from Tallahassee, putting the pressure on Malcolm Long. And that'll bring up a big third down and 11. Rattlers defense really doing a great job here, Jay, at the beginning of the second half.
They are, you know, that's something they've been kind of, to give credit. South Carolina State came here averaging many points, and man, you've done a good job slowing them down, but look out.
Linnell Elmore, the go-to receiver for Malcolm Long, comes up with a huge grab. They needed 11, they get 35.
You know, a little football one-on-one. When the team's playing cover 3 or any type of cover 1, attack the seam. You see the safety go to the middle of the field, look in one direction, come back, have a guy running up the seam. Great execution by Malcolm Long to move the free safety. You see him move him to the left, come back, throw it to your right, hit him in stride. He missed that pass in the first half, came back in the second half and delivered a perfectly thrown ball. 5
catches for Elmore on the night, make it 6. And Elmore stays in bounds, finally knocked out of bounds at around the 46-yard line by Marvin Ross, the sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida, 4-yard pickup.
You know, Florida A&M fans know that that's their defensive coordinator, Earl Holmes. You talk about a MEAC stud, 10-year NFL linebacker, and you know, we give all the credit to what they've been doing defensively to Coach Holmes, the defensive coordinator, doing a fantastic job of keeping his team in here when the offense has done nothing, yet they're only down by 1 score.
Give to Massey around the right side. They stretch it out, and he does a great job of falling forward to pick up 6 yards. Number 55, Alfonso Walker, on the stop.
You see here, I think, you know, both teams are coming down and settling. You know, we're going to see their type of football. So I think if you're, you know, what does their type of football mean? Well, for South Carolina State, it means continue to pound them, but go back to throwing the football like they wanted to do early in this contest. And for Florida A&M defensively, it means make sure you shore up that running game. Don't start making mistakes with team defense and not covering your gaps.
Chris Massey, the senior from Cheraw, South Carolina, 18 carries for 91 yards on the night. Coming up on the 100-yard mark with 10:13 to play here in the third. He'll get the call again. Actually, they go to the fullback this time, Devin Wary. Sophomore from Rock Hill, South Carolina, number 27, gets the call. 2-yard pickup for the Bulldogs. I tell you, Jay, I really like the play calling for the Bulldogs. They go from pass to run. They mix up the fly sweep. Then they go to the fullback. They really have that defense of the Rattlers guessing.
And that's because, you know, they've got the ability to be balanced. And any good team that wants to succeed in the postseason, you can't be one-dimensional.
Going back to the passing game, Long is able to complete his pass, a pickup of about 6 yards. Dwayne Clark, the junior from Statesville, North Carolina, with the catch.
And you see there, right when you think, okay, you know you're going to run the football, you're going to run it. Well, now they've got you guessing. You've got 3rd and 3. You know, obviously they're big and physical. They can run, but you try and creep up to the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden they hit you with a home run ball for the touchdown. And that's the key to having a balanced football. The element you bring to in terms of to keep the defense guessing. You don't know if they're going to run or throw the ball.
3rd and 2 for the Bulldogs. And again, they go back to the fullback, Devin Wary. He's going to pick up another South Carolina State first down, a 5-yard gain. Talk about ball distribution, and you can look down Elmore, Christie, Williams. They've gone to Norwood, Hawkins. In the running game, Massey, Jordan, and Wary have all touched it, and they've also gone to their fullbacks, Clark and Carr. Ball distribution's been very good for the Bulldogs.
Ball distribution, balanced offensive attack, all these things that you say, that just basically means they're not one-dimensional and they don't rely on just one person. That's called taking what the defense is giving you.
1st and 10, and they'll stay with Wary. Fullback carrying it like a tailback with the speed to the hole and pick up 3 more yards. All right, let's talk about midterm reports, something I usually don't like to tell my parents when my grades came in, but let's go to Professor Jay, midterm report card.
You can hide it, they can't.
That's
so
right.
South Carolina State, pound away. I gave them a B. They rushed for over 140 yards. They're on pace to get 200, but they didn't have enough points. D-line play was excellent. Florida A&M attacked the secondary. They didn't. They didn't pass the ball. I gave them a D. And stopping the run, hey, I'm going to give them an A, even though South Carolina State's pounded them because they kept them out of the end zone.
Absolutely. Once again, Linnell Elmore, favorite target of Malcolm Long, picks up 9 more yards. This is very similar to the opening drive for South Carolina State, which stalled out outside the red zone. They had to settle for a 38-yard field goal.
And I'm not surprised, because I always think when you've got good coaches, you know, they prove how good they are with their halftime adjustments. So you take a team like South Carolina State, coached by Buddy Pugh, you give him some time to go in there with his offensive coordinator, work on the game plan. So, you know, it doesn't surprise me that they're coming out and they're making the adjustments.
On 1st down, once again, it is Elmore, the sophomore from Allendale, South Carolina. 7 more yards for the Bulldogs.
And what I really like is you're keeping them guessing. Right when you think they got to run the football here, it's 1st down. Well, they come back shotgun and they throw the football on you. Now you're thinking it's 2nd and 3. Well, are they going to go for the deep shot? Are they going to run the football on us? So they really are clicking on all cylinders in this drive right now.
And this is a long drive, Jay. This is the 12th play coming. So the Rattler defense is certainly getting a workout from the 1st half. Now this long drive to start the 2nd half. Massey with the carry up the middle. Hats go flying. They blow the whistle dead. It's Massey's hat who comes off, loses his helmet. 2-yard pickup. Alvis Graham and Willie Farrell, number 41 and 7 respectively, come up and make the stop.
They're getting there, and that's just one of those things where that's why you play football. You know, people don't realize these little boring running plays up the middle. Oh, there's some collisions going on there. You take a look, you see Graham was there first, and then followed up by the other inside linebacker, Willie Farrell. But still, there's no quit in Chris Massey. He wasn't going out easy.
Flag was on the play, and they're assessing a personal foul. On 49, Antoine Carr, the junior from Augusta, Georgia, for maybe a little extracurricular activity.
Yeah, that's something you can't afford to do. You know, if you're Antoine Carr, you got to know better than that. You finally get the ball down here. You want to get a touchdown, and you do something like that to really hurt your team's chances. They were looking at 2nd and 3. Now they're backed up more.
3rd down coming. Long with time, goes the fade route, has his man, but he was turned around. Great coverage. Linnell Elmore had him in space, but was unable to get him the ball as Anthony Shutt had the coverage.
I like the decision. That's the matchup you want to go after there. You know, you got an opportunity to get, you know, Elmore, who's your slot receiver, lined up one-on-one against Anthony Shutt, who's a safety. Wide receiver one-on-one against the safety. You shouldn't win that contest. They just missed by a yard on a poor throw outside. And
once again, it'll be Blake Erickson coming on for a field goal. He's hit 2 38-yarders. This will be a 41-yarder for the junior from Cantonment, Florida. And Erickson is good. 42 yards officially, and the Bulldogs go on top 9-0. 6:41 to play when we return to Tallahassee.
Football field around here somewhere, right?
We fired up like Kingsford Charcoal.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. You have to be here. And I believe that's the car that Jay Walker got on the Emerald Isle here at Tallahassee International Airport.
That was my ride coming to the stadium. If you're in Florida, you got to do like they do in Florida. You know what I'm saying, man?
Man, that is a fine, fine ride. You got front row parking with that and the whole package. Good times in Tallahassee tonight. South Carolina State on top 9-0. Blake Erickson on to kick it away for the Bulldogs. James Owens back to receive. No scoring yet for the homestanding Rattlers, and that's got the fans a little anxious.
Yeah, something that they've got to pick up on. And, you know, I think it was South Carolina State came out and did what a good team would do. You know, they drove length of the field. They put points on the board their first drive after the halftime. Florida A&M, I mean, you got to figure out a way offensively. You made the quarterback change. You thought you'd get that spark. You know, now you make a quarterback change for a reason. I'm sure it wasn't to help out the running game. It was for the passing game. So they've got to get their passing attack on track.
Ball takes an awkward bounce, and Florida A&M and absolutely piled up at the 15-yard line. A 6-yard return for number 21, James Owens, the sophomore from up in Florida. And that's where the Rattlers will take over, trying to generate some offense. Jay, I'm no offensive whiz, but I know you played in the league at the QB position. Why aren't the Rattlers taking some shots downfield? I'm some more than 5-yard screens and seam passes. I mean, take a shot downfield.
Yeah, because I think the quarterbacks were playing not to attack, but just to not get screamed at by the offensive coach. And every now and then you got to say, hey, coach, I just want to take a shot. You know?
Did you ever tell your coaches, I saw something?
Yeah, I saw something.
I saw something.
I saw something.
Florida A&M needs to see the end zone as they trail 9-0. Battle back in. Luckily gets that ball away, but almost comes up with an intentional grounding. Eddie Battle was under some serious duress from the Bulldog defense led by number 53, Pat Washington, the junior from Charleston.
Yeah, so this is something the Battle's not going to be able to do. Do a rollout. He doesn't have the mobility that Opie had, so he was just throwing the ball trying to get rid of it. Unless you really can protect him up, that's not going to be his forte for this type of football game. He's got to stay in the pocket, pick him apart from the pocket, from the secondary.
Brings up a 2nd down and 10. Ball resting at about the 16-yard line for the Rattlers. Low snap. Battle handles it, looks downfield, has a man crossing out to the 20. Nice cutback, but the defense is up to it. Number 14, Lashad Toops, the freshman, picks up 4 yards for Florida A&M. And this goes back to my point. These are all safe passes. They're all real nice, but I'm saying you got to uncork something.
Yeah, crossing route there, you know, get the ball to playmakers in space, and sometimes it's designed to do that. But, I mean, South Carolina State, I agree with you, they tackle so well.
David
Irby.
Irby.
On that play there, Irby was there. He's not going to miss a tackle, so you got to try and get the ball a little bit further downfield. But you know, every now and then, you know, a crossing route can be just as effective as a vertical route. If you can hit a guy in stride, he can cut upfield and take off running for you.
That young man is an absolute specimen. David Irby, the 5th-year senior from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Pump fake, Battle looks, he'll tuck and run. Not the mobility or speed there. He gets it out to about the 26-yard line. And his good old friend, number 56, Julius Wilkerson, says, I got to welcome you to the game. I was harassing Opie for the first half. You'll remember that 56, son.
And he seems to be hurting his wrist there. Let's hope that he's okay. But, you know, give him credit for the effort. I mean, he got flushed out the pocket, didn't start looking sideways, put some positive yardage on there. Might have, maybe, enough yards to get a first down.
Flag down near the 50-yard line as the officials come together and talk about it. Head referee Donnell Leathers will let us know.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Dead ball. First personal foul. 82 red. Number 39 white. They all set. 4th down.
Well, Samaj Moody, number 39 for South Carolina State, called for the infraction, but as he said, they are offsetting. You gotta figure out where the ball is.
Close. I think Coach Taylor's going to ask for a measurement.
Exactly what he's asking for. Coach Taylor needs something to turn his way.
You know, when you're out there, you're just, you know, hoping you get a spark, and you know, the question is, you get the measurement, but even if you're short, are you going to go for it? And I think he must be kind of questioning the spot or something of that nature, because I don't think down here backed up you go for it. Even if it's 4th and an inch, I doubt he would go for it. You talk about Joe Taylor. You know, he's been at Florida A&M for 3 years, but he's been around the MEAC Conference a lot longer than that. You know, built the Hampton program there, took him from Division II to becoming an FCS powerhouse, and they're hoping he's going to get some of the same luck and success here at Florida A&M. I know these folks here in Tallahassee are itching for a MEAC championship, and look at that. That's what the good coaches do. They challenge the spot, go for the first down, and they come away with it.
Talk about challenging the spot. Head coach Buddy Pugh's not happy with the chains hooked up. Look at him, he's over there. He's happy to lend a hand. As soon as that chain was stretched out, he made a beeline, quick 6 yards down there to the side judge saying, oh no, you did not spot it right there.
I think the scary thing is why was the official so quick to say fourth down?
So a 1st and 10 for the Rattlers. Ball resting at about the 25, just over the 25, called the 26-yard line with 5:27 to play. They trail 9-0 to South Carolina State. You know, when you got a guy like Marshall McFadden, looks like he's got a full head of steam coming at you, I'd jump too.
Yeah, you know, McFadden wasn't in three-point stance, so he had built up a little momentum going towards the line of scrimmage.
Brandon Curry got happy feet.
Delay a game, defense, number 92, in the neutral zone, 5 yards, still first round.
Now you got to answer that one for me. Delay of game on 92.
See, what had happened was, I don't know.
Jason Ayers apparently lined up in the neutral zone, and then, all right, we'll get the full explanation momentarily. Brings up a 1st down and 5 now for the Rattlers. Battle eludes the tackler, does a great job, going to run out of bounds, and he is going to get absolutely drilled at about the 31, led by number 97, Ronell Ferguson.
Yeah, the pressure was there and flushed him out of the pocket. Unfortunately for Battle, he had 3 wide receivers lined up on the left side, no wide receivers on the right side, and he scrambled. Saw the receiver go to the left. They were flooding the zone on the left side. He's scrambling, trying to look all the way across his body. Nowhere to go with the football. You can't throw it away in that instance there because there's nobody close, so he had to take some punishment.
Pat Washington was all over him, but it was Ferguson that finished the job off, and that'll bring up a 2nd down and 5 now. Battle gets some heat, and he is sacked. Courtney Ingram, number 11, the sophomore from Milledgeville, Georgia, came in to get the tackle. 4-yard loss for Florida A&M.
Yeah, they're going to run a stun here, and you'll see Courtney Ingram come around. He's doing a trick, going up the middle, then spins around to the outside. They get to Battle. He tries to step up. No place to go. See Ingram there just following the football, puts a shake move on the running back trying to block him. That becomes a mismatch. And you can tell one thing about this Bulldog defense. I mean, they are hungry. They are aggressive. You know, if they're going to be Bulldogs, I would call them rabid. R-A-B-I-D. Rabid Bulldogs, because they go after everything.
3rd and 9. Battle back to pass, feeling the pressure, steps up, man open, and hits him in the hands. He was already down on his knees, but it would have been after the 47. Antonio Lawrence, number 6, the sophomore from Lakeland, Florida, just could not come up with the grab.
Great job by Battle stepping up. Throw was a little bit low, but when he steps up, tell me how many yards could he have rushed for?
A lot.
He had plenty. When you step up and you see that much room, unless somebody's wide open, it's an easy throw, you take off and run. Watch the step up. He's up, go, 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 go. Oh, they were 18 yards deep.
Brandon Holdren on once again. He has already had 7 punts on the night with a 47.1-yard average. So Holdren getting a workout here. Richard Christie coming up, decides not to get it, and he made a mistake there because the ball goes all the way down to the 22-yard line, and that's where the Bulldogs will take over. 52-yard punt. Bulldogs still on top, 9-0. We'll talk about the rest of the day in college sports when we come back. Back in Tallahassee, 9-0. South Carolina State on top with 3:22 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Saturday headlines look like this. Tyrod Taylor and the Hokies upset North Carolina State 41-30 without Ryan Matthews. Oklahoma beats Texas in the Red River rivalry. And Michigan State getting it done for Coach D'Antonio, taking out Wisconsin 34-24. How about the day for Kirk Cousins?
Oh, getting it done. I mean, that's a tough place. It's an upset, but, you know, Wisconsin had to go to Michigan State. You knew that put them at a disadvantage there. And is there a more hot and cold quarterback who's the ultimate weapon than Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah, it's amazing.
He can beat you by himself, and he can beat his team by himself.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Chris Massey back on the running attack. Total yards on the night so far, though, 61 plays for South Carolina State. They've massed 317 yards plus 2 on that one, so make it 319. For Florida A&M, they've had 35 plays. And Jay, I hate to say this, 79 total yards.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the story there. This South Carolina State defense has done a fantastic job of really shutting down the Rattler offense. And, you know, if you're South Carolina State, your offense has been rolling. You've got 300 yards in the 3rd quarter and still got a quarter football to play.
2nd down and 8. Long back to pass. He's going to uncork one, lets it go, has his man out there, and a beautiful play at the last second by Curtis Holcomb, the senior from Miami. The ball was just underthrown, and he knocks it down. Looking for Linnell Elmore, unable to bring it in.
Yeah, you'll see Long lets it go, and good job by Elmore trying to go up and catch it at his highest point, but that's what you're doing, how you play the cornerback position. If you're Curtis Holcomb, go up and jump high, pull the receiver's hands away from him. That's why he and Keir Hall get NFL looks. They're two of the best lockdown cornerbacks you'll see in college football. That's perfect proof for I. He was beat by a step, but had the recovery speed.
Long back to pass. Looking for the same man, number 1, unable to get it to Elmore. He is pushed out of bounds, but he wouldn't have made it had he been Shaquille O'Neal. 4th down and 8, and the Bulldogs will have to punt it away.
That's one there where, you know, if you're Malcolm Long, you know, I'm jealous. I mean, as much time as he gets in that pocket to throw the football, you know, when you got a line give you that much time, it's got to be like pitching and catching. You're not getting hit. Wide receivers are running good routes with some speed, just missing throws high, missing them short. Work on the accuracy of this team, and once he's going to get it, as the season progresses, this team is going to be very tough to get.
Erickson back on to punt it away for South Carolina State. From his 12, he puts his foot into it and sends a beautiful punt all the way back to about the 34-yard line.
Oh, can't do that, son.
Antonio Lawrence retreats quickly and is taken down by who else? Number 56, Julius Wilkerson. 41-yard punt, 5-yard loss, and a player down for the Rattlers.
And nothing good comes out of a punt returner turning his back to the defense. You got people that are coming, human missiles coming. You know, he's going to field this ball, then he's going to try and get too cute with it. Turn his back, can't do that. You're in trouble right there. Wilkerson's right there, and he's a linebacker. He's going to put a little hurt on you, slam you into the ground.
Julius Wilkerson has introduced himself to a lot of players wearing the orange and green tonight.
That's what really helps a guy like Julius Wilkerson. Talking about playing the next level, playing special teams.
Here's our Facebook question. Who is the best quarterback in college football right now? You notice how Jay, politician, tried to get me a, well, you mean tonight or at the end of the year or what's the best college football player right now? That's our Facebook question on 1st and 10. Back to the running game for Philip Sylvester and the Rattlers. No gain there. And you really haven't answered me. You gave me a shotgun. You gave me like 6 names.
I like, you know, for styles, if you had to give me a quarterback I was going to start a team with today, if I was starting a team.
One quarterback, Jay.
Andrew Luck. Because people don't realize, I mean, he really throws the football well, picks apart. He's pretty mobile, too. I mean, he can move. He's not the fastest guy, but he's definitely not the slowest. And, you know, as evidence last week, I think he had a 52-yard touchdown run. He can move, and he knows when to run the football.
Well, the people that know these kind of things, like Todd McShay and Mel Kiper, they said he's NFL ready. I mean, he's just NFL ready right now. Battle comes out passing, has plenty of room. Well blocked, well played, designed, and it's the freshman Lashad Tukes, 15-yard pickup. Christian Thompson finally comes over and pushes him out of bounds, but that's another very rare FAMU first down.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just misdirection. They've got everybody. Look at the South Carolina State defense. They're all going to the left. The line sails out. Everybody's going left, comes back, throws it against the grain. Good block there. Gets to the outside by Tukes. And that's what you're taught to do. When you catch those screens, don't cut inside, because that's where the defense is coming from. You know, you may give a little shake, but you want to get to the outside.
The freshman from Jacksonville, Florida, picks up FAMU's 4th first down of the night. Eddie Rocker now into the game. Battle gives the fake. Now he's got some open territory. Gets a block downfield, gets it past midfield, and Christian Thompson makes a stop, but 8 more yards for the Rattlers. Jay, they've got to finish this drive.
They've got to, and that's the key, and manage the game, what you're doing. That's why they want Eddie Battle in there for the decision. Play action, is it there? Don't like what I see, step up. Okay, I learned, I listened to you, Professor J. I'm taking off this time. Picks up 7 yards on the carry, giving them 2nd and 3. Offensive coordinators love that. You can do whatever you want to. The whole playbook is an option right now when you got 2nd and less than 5 yards.
Rocker gets the call, goes into a pile of white shirts, no gain on the play. Eddie Rocker, the sophomore from Florida, trying to give a spell to Philip Sylvester, who's been carrying the load tonight for the Rattlers. So they have some great play calling. Offside, they load one side, go to the other side, and then they go back to 2 plays right into the line.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, I tried to set them up nicely. 2nd and 3, you can use the whole playbook. They went and got conservative on me. Now they're faced with a crucial 3rd down. They must convert to keep the drive alive.
Meanwhile, number 16, Martin Opie, the quarterback from the first half, stands on the sideline and watches the 3rd period come to an end. So it comes down to this, the 4th and final period for the Rattlers, as they trail 9-0 to South Carolina State at home in Tallahassee. We'll be back with the 4th quarter after this short break.
And you join together talented student athletes with great coaches at wonderful institutions of
Let's take a look at tonight's game summary brought to you by State Farm. It's all Blake Erickson, 3 field goals on the night. More importantly, you look at total yards, Jay, 319 to 101 and first downs, 18 to 4.
Yeah, that's been the story right there. Florida A&M's 3rd down efficiency was just horrendous. 4 first downs is not going to get it done. Fortunately, like we've been saying all night, they're still in the contest, though.
Big 3rd and 3. Battle back to pass, has his man. Catch is made. First down, and a flag comes out at the end of the play. Antonio Lawrence with a grab for 5 yards. And number 53, Pat Washington, immediately threw his hands up and said, "It wasn't me."
Personal foul, roughing the pass, defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty, added to the end of the run, first down.
Well, he's right, it wasn't him. They got David Irby, this 5th-year senior from Rock Hill, South Carolina.
And that's one there that's not going to make defensive coordinator David Blanchard happy at all right there. You know, the defense has been doing a great job. They have been able to move the ball on you efficiently, and you help them out, give them a bailout call when they get a first down by a penalty.
That moves the ball all the way up to the 30. Rattlers trying to get into the end zone and put some points on the board, trailing 9-0, 14:53 to play in the ball game. 1st and 10. Battle with time, has a man, and he's going to be picked off. David Irby just atoned for that personal foul. The 5'11", 225-pound senior from Rock Hill, South Carolina, read it beautifully.
He made his mind where he was going with that football. The spacing was off. He was going to force feed it to Antonio Lawrence. He was covered all the way. I mean, running down the seam that he was covered. They had poor spacing, 2 guys running down the same seam. He still threw the ball. That was what you call he was reliant on his pre-snap read, regardless of what the defense was doing. Easy interception for David Irby. But that's how you make up for yourself for that penalty. That'll get you out the coach's doghouse in a hurry.
Get you out of the doghouse real quick. So the Rattlers are turned away once again. Turnover doing them in. The ball goes back to South Carolina State. We said at the top of the telecast, Irby, one of the best linebackers in the conference. Long handing the ball off to his favorite back, Chris Massey, the senior from Cheraw, South Carolina. Transfer from Coffeyville Community College. Graham and Folsom on the stop.
Coffeyville Community College, out in Kansas, they produce some players. Ron Springs go there, Mike Rozier in Coffeyville. Now they've got, that's where Ron Carter's going, transfer from Ohio State. New Keith Richardson is out there, the wide receiver from Tennessee. Now he's playing defensive back out there at Coffeyville Community College.
Great program out there. Quick pass out to Elmore. He is met immediately for a 3-yard loss. You know, as bad as the Rattlers offense is playing, Greg Harvey on the stop, their defense is playing pretty good. They have kept South Carolina State out of the end zone.
Yeah, that's why we had to give credit to Earl Holmes. And, if you know the type of player that Earl Holmes was, you know he's going to have a defense that just doesn't quit. Every now and then you've got, as a coordinator, you've got to will your personality on your defensive unit. Earl Holmes is one of those guys. I mean, he plays sideline to sideline, north, south, east, west, whatever type of fight you wanted to get into, he was there for it. And you can tell this defense is willing to step up to the challenge.
Coach Taylor talked about the heavyweight fight. The defense is doing a great job, and right across the middle, a defensive lapse. Linnell Elmore still on his feet, finally tackled down at about the 48-yard line by Alvis Graham, but a 26-yard pickup, and Jay, they had them pinned on 3rd and 11.
Yes, but it all goes down to the time. I mean, look at this. Look at this wall of protection. He's just standing, making his read. Nobody gets within 3 yards of him. And then once you get the ball to a guy like Linnell Elmore in space, he's going to make the first guy miss. Man, I'm really impressed with this offensive line. Because
10 receptions, wow.
Florida A&M says they have a good defensive front. I believe it. This is a great offensive line for South Carolina State.
Make it 11 for Linnell Elmore. Coaches said he was probably the favorite target of Malcolm Long, but after that 4-yard pickup, 11 receptions, we still have a lot of the fourth quarter to go. Buy him a little dinner on the way back to Orangeburg.
Yeah, he's come to play, dropped the ball early in the contest, and ever since then, he's been making great play after play.
Coaches talked about the matchup we might see tonight on FAMU's best DB and Keir Hall. So they said it might be a one-on-one. Keir Hall matching up on Linnell Elmore, and so far the two have not gotten together a whole lot. Devin Wary, number 27, the fullback, gets the call. He'll pick up 7 yards.
Running to that left side, who plays left tackle for South Carolina State. Big number 50, Johnny Colbreth again, just manhandled his defender.
The matchup we were talking about with Linnell Elmore, number 1, Keir Hall for FAMU, number 1. So we thought we'd see a lot of one-on-one tonight. Hasn't really materialized.
Did you practice that?
No, I just
one-on-one?
It makes it easy, 1 versus 1. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. They continue to march down the field. Cutting it back once again, they'll use the big fullback, 5'11", 235 out of Rock Hill, Devin Wary. Keir Hall, number 1, the fastest defender on the team, has to come up and make the stop from his corner position, 7-yard gain.
Look at all those white jerseys. Get over there, get in position. He's just looking for a lane, stretch it, cut up field, accelerate.
Looking for a lane. That was a park lane. So much room he had.
Like a highway, yeah, not a 2-lane highway either, but this is that time where the stronger team starts to wear on. I think for the first time I'm seeing fatigue from the Florida A&M defensive front.
Fullback again, it's Wary up the middle, continues to chew up yards, 3 more yards, and it's another 1st down for South Carolina State. This South Carolina State team's impressed me, Jay, on every aspect. It hasn't been the offensive output we thought we'd see, but they're doing enough. They're up 9-0. But rarely do we sing the praises of an offensive line like we probably should for the Bulldogs. They all come back intact across the board. Colbreth, Johnson, Timothy, Nathan, and Harrison, and they have done a fantastic job of protecting their quarterback. Wary again, the big fullback, and he is just pounding away.
I mean, this is good old-fashioned Willie Jeffries style of football. South Carolina State, the college football coach, got elected to the College Football Hall of Fame. But look at this offensive line. I mean, all those career starts, all the cohesiveness, the strength, the physical ability. I mean, they got the total package.
Well, you got 3 first-team MEACers coming back from last year. And Jake Johnson, the left guard, and Sam Timothy, not too shabby.
And I liked him. I've been watching him the center. He doesn't get all the accolades, but he puts him in the right blocking scheme.
Massey this time comes in. He'll pick up another 1st down. They're inside the red zone, tackled at the 15 by number 55, Alfonso Walker, but an 8-yard pickup for the Bulldogs. And they are just grinding the clock and the defense of the Rattlers.
The folks here in Tallahassee may not want to hear this, and the rest of the MEAC conference may not want to hear this, but this seems like all the likings of what we call a championship drive.
Sure.
Rivals here, you're trying to get it done, trying to clinch this game, and you just pound on the ball.
Once again, Chris Massey checks in, and he gets the carry. Greg Harvey makes the stop, 4 more yards, and the clock continues to run. And I'll tell you, and I don't blame them, but the Florida A&M defense, they look absolutely gassed.
Yeah, you can tell. You started to see it happening. That's something where the team just beating on your offense isn't giving you any help. Only 5 first downs on the evening. It's going to catch up and pay its toll, and normally it shows up in the 4th quarter.
Massey again, left side this time. They are mixing up the play calling, doing a great job. Alfonso Walker once again to stop, this time just a 2-yard pickup.
You know, one thing that is really effective, we talk about how the offense is sputtered and the defense is playing lights out. Give their offensive unit, South Carolina State, credit for this. They haven't hurt their defense. You know, they moved the ball, they didn't have many 3-and-outs, didn't turn over the football, so they kept themselves in a position to win the game when their defense was dictating what was taking place on the field. So you got to give credit for that. It's a little thing. It doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but the defense sure does appreciate it.
Long rolling out to his right. He's got some room to run. Thinks about throwing it. He'll take a pop, but he'll fall forward to about the 3-yard line. A 6-yard pickup on what could be maybe categorized as a broken play. It looked like he wanted to throw that the entire time.
There was nobody going out. So, you know, I think this was a call wrong in the huddle. Nobody was running out. 12 went out late. You see him there. He was the only guy, but he was blocking for the first part of that play. So Malcolm Long showing
and Malcolm Young, be honest, he can deliver just as well as he can take it. At 6'3", a conservative 250. Not someone the cornerbacks want to see. Falling forward, so the ball's now spotted at the 4-yard line. Quick snap by the Bulldogs. Massey up the middle. Remember, this is the first trip to the red zone for the Bulldogs.
I think they're frustrated with settling for field goals. So they're starting to exercise their will on this Rattler defense.
And a flag comes out. They're talking about 12 men on the field. We'll get the word from Donnell Leathers.
Illegal participation on the defense. 12 on the field. Half the distance. Replay first down.
I don't even know if 12 could stop the Bulldogs right now. The way they're running the ball.
Yeah, I mean, even if you put an extra guy in the box, I don't know if you would have any success stopping them. You know, a good team like this, you give them the ball first and goal inside the 5. You can go ahead and call it a wrap.
And what's impressed me the most, Jay, tonight is the patience. You know, the offense hasn't been there, and they're all frustrated, but they've stayed with the game plan. Buddy Q did not lie to us. 14th play coming on this drive. And finally, the Bulldogs penetrate the end zone. Malcolm Long on the quarterback keeper for the 6.
They kept pounding and pounding. You got a big quarterback. We talked about his size. Well, watch him get small, get low, stumble his way into the end zone for the touchdown, and impressive drive put on by the boys from Orangeburg, South Carolina.
14-play drive, and the Florida A&M defense is just absolutely winded. The converse side of that, South Carolina State's defense has been sitting there just getting a nice breather in. They will be fresh when they come back out. South Carolina State on top, 16-0, 14-play drive, chewed up 6 minutes and 25 seconds, capped by the Malcolm Long keeper. Back to Tallahassee in a moment.
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask me if I can do a reading for you. You have a duty to do it because you have a gift. It's not a gift, it's a curse.
What do you think happens when we die?
I have visions with no way of switching it off.
Oh my God.
It's who you are, it's what you are. You can't run from that forever.
Hereafter, rated PG-13, starts October 22nd.
ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And that young man is looking for some offense. Maybe it's out in the parking lot, I don't know, but tonight the Rattlers unable to put any points on the board, trailing 16-0 with 8:13 to play. And that man, Malcolm Long, getting the Bulldogs' first touchdown on the night. 21 of 33 for 206 passing with 1 interception. And Massey, though, has been the story. 26 carries, 113 yards rushing.
Saw that there. I mean, you know, with that drive there, I think the Florida A&M folks kind of realized offense isn't doing anything, down by 2 scores at least. I mean, there's a traffic jam to get to the parking lot, to get to the tailgate.
What they're trying to do, they're trying to get to the leftover barbecue as Blake Erickson kicks it away. And that means less barbecue for Todd Harris as the ball goes out of bounds. Flag comes out. So the first break for Florida A&M here in the 4th quarter with 8:13 to play. Let's take a look at the road ahead for Florida A&M, brought to you by Lexus. This is what's on their schedule. Savannah State at home. Then they go on the road to Norfolk State, Morgan State back here, North Carolina A&T, and then Bethune-Cookman on November 20th. Think we'll see some bands then?
Oh, you will definitely see some bands. And, you know, Bethune-Cookman is back. They are leading the nation in offense. You're talking about rebounding from the year they made a coaching change. Brian Jenkins doing a fantastic job there. He's got the Wildcats back. And unfortunately, that's not good news if that's your in-state rival, if you're Florida A&M. I think Bethune put up 60 today on Morgan.
Something like that. Blake Erickson kicking off again, this time from the 25. A great time for the Rattlers to run one back. James Owens with the ball. Owens, big collision, and he is dropped at about the 34-yard line. 24-yard return, not quite a complete return, but there is a flag on the play. Head referee Donnell Leathers sorting it all out. Ball right now sitting at the 35.
That collision happened so fast. Where was there time to be a penalty?
Offside on the kicking team. Number 24, 5 yard, free kick.
Free kick, yeah.
We'll kick it again.
Taylor's going to make him kick it again. You know, you take a look at this collision here. He's going to accelerate into a headache.
Boom.
Peeled off his block. Ooh. I can never play special teams. You know, your best special teams players are the ones that they don't have a full deck of cards. They got half a deck of cards.
I remember talking to a player from the University of Arizona and asking him what's it like to return kicks and punts. He said it's like running through a thunder and lightning storm. You get that ball, it's just all going around you, and you just put your head down and go. So we'll have a third attempt here from Blake Erickson, kicking it off. This time it's backed up to the 20-yard line. I'll say it again. How good would it be for the Rattlers right now to return this thing?
To get a return. And one thing that Erickson has had trouble doing is keeping his kicks inbound. They've all been very close to the sideline. Now you probably get the tendency to want to really get the ball down there, overswing, overkick, pull it. They add another 5 yards. So
you talking about my golf game, or are you talking about the kick?
Both.
8:06 to play here in Tallahassee. 16-0 South Carolina State on top. This time Owens will take it from the 12-yard line. Another big collision, but he gets it out to about the 35 as we take a look at the HBCU headlines. Bethune-Cookman under new leadership, they are 4-0, and Jay Walker, you said it, they are back.
Oh man, 69 points today on Morgan State. If Morgan doesn't do anything else, they can play some defense. So that lets you know.
Congratulations to Martell Mallett, the former Arkansas Pine Bluff running back, inks a deal with the Browns, and Howard picks up the first win of the season. That's an academic institution.
Yeah.
But the Bison defeated Lincoln 28-14.
At home. Guess, you know, you got to take pride whenever you can get it.
That's right. A win's a win, Jay.
You know, these folks around here in Tallahassee can tease me. I say, well, my team got the victory today.
1st and 10 for the Rattlers. Battle in, has his man. Short hops it to Philip Sylvester, and that's unfortunate because he had about 10 yards of green grass in front of him.
Yeah, you know, that's just what happens. You don't have any type of offensive cohesiveness. You know, the unit's not flowing, haven't flowed all night in particular. Pass guys wide open and you skip it to them. I'm always told that in days like this, and I think that's the story for Florida A&M. You know, some of the wide receivers, they've had guys open, but today I think it really came down to they didn't have the quarterback play that they needed to be the top-notch team like South Carolina State.
I think Joe Taylor told us he knew he was in for a big fight. He knew it was going to be a big one, but I think if you told him you were going to get blanked, but you'd only be down 9-0 in the 4th quarter by way of field goals, he would have taken that.
Yep.
2nd down and 10. Battle, time, looking, goes downfield, he'll be picked off. Darius Drummond, the freshman, and he is bringing it all the way. He steps out of bounds, but the true freshman from Asheville, North Carolina, comes up with the interception, and Battle had plenty of time in the pocket. That time his line gave him the time, and Jay, he just tried to force it in there.
Yeah, I'm just reading his eyes. He's looking, look at him. He's locked, he's loaded. He's coming right at you. I mean, he saw the route coming. Everything was in front of him. That's how you play free safety. You read the eyes. Then when you see the quarterback lock in on somebody, you go there, jump in front of it. become a wide receiver or a running back after you get the interception. Good aggressive running after the INT.
Very unfortunate for the Rattlers. Nothing doing there. FAMU's passing tonight, 7 of 18 for 40 yards. That's right, I said 40 total yards, Jay. 3 interceptions and 4 drop passes.
Man, we're in the days of Quinn Gray setting all the records with Ottoman Sampson, with Juwan Siders, even Robert Ezell. Quarterback in the position that normally produces. The Curtis Pulley past 2 years that produces here in Tallahassee.
1st and 10, Bulldogs with excellent field position on the return. And they'll go back to the running game, and why not? Been working tonight. Chris Merrill gets the call. Goes east and west and loses about 2 yards. Do you second guess Coach Joe Taylor's decision to change quarterbacks?
No, because if you heard the comments that he made, he thought systematically there were some things that weren't going effective with Martin Opie and the quarterback. So he wanted Battle to come in and use some of that senior leadership. You heard the comments.
Yeah.
You heard the locker room. The locker room got excited. Yeah, let's go, Eddie. They were ready to get behind him.
Yeah.
And that was the spark he was trying to get, but it just didn't come through tonight.
Meanwhile, Martin Opie has to sit and look on and see his Rattlers still unable to get any points going. Chris Massey with the call for the Bulldogs.
The down thing about that is now you've got a quarterback controversy going right to the meat of your MEAC schedule.
Yeah, Joe Taylor's got a lot of thinking to do. They'll sort it out during practice this week.
But I will say this, they got beat by the better team. They were trying to pull an upset. Many people might not have believed that, but this South Carolina State team is good. And Buddy Pugh's got that program. It's very hard to do on the FCS level where they just reload year after year. They just reload.
Massey wrapped up by the defense of the Rattlers. 3-yard loss. Well, it was a close game last year in the playoffs. South Carolina State lost to App State. I know they're already still thinking about getting a shot back at Appalachian State. They say that South Carolina State's the best team in the MEAC, #1.
Yes.
Are they that much better than the rest of the conference then if this is the #2 team in Florida A&M?
They're the class act of the conference at the time, and they've gone to the postseason and represented the conference well. And it's one of those teams that's rebuilt. They're rebounding. They're undefeated conference play. That's late in the schedule. So the way it's shaping up right now, I think that Hampton-South Carolina State game will be the one to clinch the MEAC championship.
37-yard field goal attempt for Blake Erickson. He is 3 for 3 on the night. Play is blown dead before it can get going.
Offense, number 35, 5 yards, still 4th down.
Well, they had plenty of leg on that one. They'll back Blake Erickson up another 5 yards and see if he can do it again.
And the last point on the South Carolina State, how good are they? I mean, this is the #9 ranked team in the country. And I think they're only going to climb up to beat a quality program like Florida A&M.
Yeah.
So right now they're playing for postseason position. They really would love to host a postseason game in Orangeburg. Their only problem is regionally, they're going to be in that same bracket with Appalachian State. Some people have them either the #1 or #2 team in the country. So
what's also impressive, Jay, you think about it, they're doing it and getting kids in the state with 2 very good teams in Clemson and South Carolina having great years, and they're still able to recruit some great kids. This will now be a 42-yard field goal for Blake Erickson, the junior out of Florida. No issues whatsoever. Blake Erickson is on tonight, and now the score reads 19-0. South Carolina State on top. We'll talk more Heisman when we come back. Stanford's Andrew Luck having a night at Autzen Stadium in Eugene.
I'm up at 5 cause mornings arrive, and I'm feeling alive cause I'm making it. The dollar menu at breakfast is impressive.
Back in Tallahassee, Florida, South Carolina State on top 19-0 with 5:14 to play. Alongside Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris. Well, the talk of Heisman, it never seems like it'd be too early, but once you get to October, it's like fair game. Mark Ingram tonight, 34 rushes, 308 yards. It's an average of 9.3 that's going into tonight's game. But Andrew Luck, going into Autzen Stadium, if he can lead his team into Autzen and get a win, it's pretty impressive. Denard Robinson, not a bad year as well.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys are getting it done. Obviously, Cam Newton's not on there. He kind of had a little warm-up week against Louisiana Monroe today, but he looked very impressive there. So it's going to be a good chase. It's going to be a good chase.
Kellen Moore, you got to factor him in as well as Boise State, especially if they get into another BCS bowl game, which looks like they will. At the 10, James Owens takes it. Has a nice little seam, has some running room. Owens past the 40 to the 45, and he trips up, taken down at the 46-yard line, a 35-yard return. So a spark of life still from the Rattlers, but it may be too little too late as they are trailing 19-0.
You know, one thing we can say about James Owens, he's been hitting the hole all night. You know, sacrificing his body. This time he gets a crease, and he's willing to go in there and get contact. And if he would have kept his balance, it would have been a foot race between he and Blake Erickson in the end zone. So you've heard my prediction for Heisman. You know, what's your prediction?
You know what, I'd have to say right now, Andrew Luck. He plays in the right conference. It's going to get the exposure. You know, going to a place like Autzen, if he beats the likes of Oregon and the likes of USC, I think you're going to see something. New quarterback now for the Rattlers. Jonathan Pillow comes in. So Coach Taylor not happy with what he's seen so far. Check that. Austin Trainer, number 15, comes in. And we talked to the coach about Austin Trainer. He said this young man is pretty legit.
You know, one of the issues you always say, well, you know, you think in the back of your mind, well, I mean, guys that good, that legit, how come he's not playing? You know, and I think Coach Taylor's trying to say, you know what, let me see if I can practice what I preach. Let's see how the guy can do in game situations.
Trainer, the 6'2", redshirt freshman from Tallahassee, Florida, from North Florida Christian. As we take a look at the road ahead, brought to you by Lexus. Take a look at the road ahead for the South Carolina State Bulldogs. That's a doable schedule for them.
No, that's tough.
I mean,
they're in the meat. Norfolk State, Adrian, they're going to be very competitive. Bethune, that offensive Bethune.
I don't want to throw your boys under the bus, but the back end of that, if they can get to this stretch of 3, and they get down to Howard, Morgan State, North Carolina A&T,
then they're cruising.
They should be in pretty good shape.
Then they just have to stay focused on the goal, and that game against Morgan State will be on ESPNU on a Thursday night, so that should be when they just about have the conference wrapped up if things go their way. But
there's Austin Trainer.
Ooh, that Bethune matchup is going to be the one.
You like that, don't you?
Because one thing about Bethune, they've always had athletes, you know, fast, but they always ran the dive option and the wide bone, they called it. But now they've come with more balance. You get some Florida kids, some athleticism and some discipline, you're talking about a good program.
So Trainer takes his second snap at QB, third string, and he's going to feel the pressure, but he gets the ball away, finds his receiver, number 82, Brian Times. That's a 2-yard pickup. Talk about a confidence booster. Get him a couple short passes, some completions, and let's see what the young man can do.
Yeah, I mean, and if he can do it, he's going to earn it right now because, you know, one thing about South Carolina State, they still got the Bulldogs in there.
Yeah.
You can say that. You know, Irby's still out there. You still got McFadden out there. They've got them all. So,
Donovan Richards still there.
Yeah, they're all out there. So they're trying to preserve the shutout right now to make a statement.
Under 4:30 to play here in the fourth quarter. It's all South Carolina State. Third string quarterback in for the FAMU Rattlers. The Trainer does a great job. Ball knocked away by Jason Ayers, the right end, number 92, the senior from South Carolina. Third sack technically of the night.
You see Trainer here, you know, good job of trying to step up in the pocket, but he left that right hand back there. He'll learn. When you're going to step up like that, you want to almost go ball first, rather than have the ball trailing.
Got a favorable bounce, but it will bring up a 4th and 7. Ayers and the Bulldogs are fired up.
Yeah, I think this is what we should go for right there, right now.
And once again, too many men on the field for the Rattlers.
Substitution in front on the offense. Number 51, 5 yards, still 4th down.
That's a man that's calm on the outside, but I have a feeling he's simmering on the inside.
He is. He's calm, laid back. You heard him at halftime. You know, he thought this was a winnable football game there. It's just nothing could be more disappointing for a coach when your team just doesn't show up. You know, and offensively, they just did not show up this evening. And special teams having those type of flubs.
Nice punt by Holdren. Ball takes a skip for Florida A&M and will be down around 15-yard line. 37-yard punt. We'll be back to Tallahassee for the final 3:16 when we return on ESPNU.
76. We're on the driver's side.
You are watching ESPNU College Football Primetime, presented by McDonald's. South Carolina State on top 19-0 over Florida A&M here in Tallahassee in the fourth with 3:16 to play. I want to remind you to join host Lowell Galindo with Mike Bellotti and Tom Bougainville for BCS Countdown for in-depth analysis of the week. And look ahead to week number 6, the BCS Countdown presented by Discover on ESPNU and ESPNU HD. That's Monday at 6 Eastern. That is a team that looks awfully frustrated, Jay.
Sometimes it's like that. Your home opener here, everybody was excited. All the excitement from the offseason, folks wanted to see you play. You come out here and you don't get it done. It'll be a long week ahead in practice.
Chris Merrill on the carry, the sophomore from Simpsonville, South Carolina. 13-yard pickup. Marvin Ross comes up and makes the stop.
I think if you're Florida A&M, you got to do some soul searching. They're coming on. This will be back-to-back losses for them. They haven't lost 2 consecutive games in a while, back-to-back like this. Lose to Tennessee State. Now you come home and you lose to South Carolina State. You got to right the ship in a hurry, or else this will be a long season.
Well, the story for Florida A&M on the night: 6 first downs for the whole game, 9 punts. Bulldogs will keep it on the ground, giving Chris Merrill a chance to show what he can do, and the young man pounds it out for another 7 yards. Keir Hall has to come up from the cornerback position and make the stop.
Once again, they continue. Look at all the white jerseys, getting out there, getting active. Running back, stretch, get to the edge, and turn on the Jets right there. They've been able to do that all day. It goes back to what we've always said all game long, that athletic offensive line of South Carolina State having the ability to not only push the Rattler defense around, but also the ability to have the speed to take the angles from their defense.
Under 2 minutes to play now in Tallahassee, and not the way the Rattlers want to open up their home stand here in front of the fans. They had the marching 100 here. There's a packed house, perfect weather. Come off the road. Chris Merrill again gets the call. This time he loses it. And when you induct the Hawk, Andre Dawson, into the Hall of Fame here at FAMU, you got to get the win for him.
You got to get the win, and at least you got to do is try and get on base a couple times. They're getting shut out. Doesn't matter if you're playing football or baseball. A shutout is a shutout.
As you pointed out, Jay, tough sledding ahead for the Rattlers as their schedule doesn't get a whole lot easier. This is the best team probably in the MEAC, but the teams coming down the pipe, not too shabby either. 3rd down and 4 for South Carolina State, and they are content to just let the clock run down and milk the play clock all the way down as it goes under 5 seconds. Chris Merrill gets the call. Willie Farrell on the stop as we take a look at the Sheridan poll one more time.
We'll update that one. So South Carolina State's obviously going to 3-1. Grambling got the victory today. Went on the road, knocked off Alabama A&M. Not an easy place to win. Albany, Winston-Salem, Florida A&M will probably drop now 2-3. Tuskegee's rolling. Morehouse still the big story there. You see that number 10 team.
Yep.
Keep an eye on Hampton now. They won ugly the other day versus Delaware State, but Coach Rose has them playing some good football again. And
I didn't see a column for winning ugly. I just saw a column for winning.
Exactly.
You taught me that, Jay. A win's a win.
A win's a win. No style points on the win-loss column.
All right, here you go. 1, 2, 3. Wait.
So with 13 seconds remaining, South Carolina State will take the delay. The 5 yards will back them up. I would like to see the Rattlers come in and throw a long ball. Just to say you can. Just unleash something. Put that freshman quarterback in and let him have a couple shots downfield.
You'll take a Hail Mary. No, just throw it into the end zone.
Absolutely. Because I don't think they've thrown the ball more than 25 yards down the field. Or how about a return here? Special teams helping you out. Antonio Lawrence takes a look at this. Ball bounces sideways, so there'll be no return. And it'll be down just inside the 30-yard line. No time left on the clock, and that will do it. So South Carolina State makes the 6-hour drive down to Tallahassee, Florida, and they come away with a 19-0 victory over arch rivals Florida A&M. And for the 8th year in a row, Buddy Pugh gets it done against the Rattlers. That's the 20th consecutive MEAC victory for Coach Pugh and his Bulldogs.
Well, that's very impressive. If there's any doubt about who the pride of the MEAC Conference is right now, we know that it's the Bulldogs of South Carolina State.
Last time the Rattlers were shut out back in 1987 versus Tuskegee. When we come back, we'll have the post-game report after this break. Final score, South Carolina 19, Florida A&M nothing. Back in Tallahassee, Florida, let's take a look at tonight's Lexus HBCU post-game report. 19-0. South Carolina State makes the trip to Tallahassee and takes out Florida A&M University on a beautiful night. Alongside Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris. Well, it wasn't the prettiest of games, but it was efficient if you're a Bulldog fan.
Very physical football game. The South Carolina State Bulldog defense just had the Florida A&M offense's number all night long. They pitched a shutout. They earned it. They were very physical.
Speaking of all night long, Malcolm Long, the quarterback for the Bulldogs, he did what he had to do, leading his team to the victory.
Yeah, good job of managing the Bulldog offense. Started off early, making some key completions to get them going. 21 of 33 for 206 yards passing. Only one interception on the day. Rushed for a touchdown as well. Put his team in good positions to win the football game. And then ultimately, it was the offensive line and the power game from South Carolina State that took over this contest. When Malcolm Long had time to throw all night long, he was very efficient in the quarterback position.
Good numbers on the night, 21 completions, as you pointed out, a rushing TD. Didn't have to do much. It was a 2-yard sneaker, but he got it in there, and just one interception, 206 yards. But remember, it was 9-0, and Florida A&M was still in this ball game, just couldn't get it going.
Yeah, they figured it out in the second half, and that's what a good football team is going to do. They're going to go in, make halftime adjustments, and figure out a way to beat you. That's what Buddy Pugh did with this Bulldog defense. There's a reason they're ranked number 9 in all the country, and they're trying to move up the charts.
Well, more great football on ESPNU. HBCU action coming up Thursday, 7:30 Eastern. Prairie View A&M at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Well, this has been the Lexus HBCU post-game report from Tallahassee, Florida. Once again, our final score from Bragg Memorial Stadium, South Carolina State 19, Florida A&M nothing. For Jay Walker, I'm Todd Harris. Coming up next, we'll send you to our SportsCenter U studio. College football fans, you won't want to miss the experts, 6 experts, and unfiltered conversation every Tuesday at 1 and 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's send it to Lowell Galindo in the SportsCenter U studio.